Fordham and URI, the Battle of the Rams, and a 19-point URI blowout to end the regular season. 4 days later, they met again, this time in the A10 championships, with each other's seasons on the line. Fordham did the unthinkable.
Welcome to March, the first 15 seed in A10 history to advance past round one.
343 days later, they meet again, and we're right back where we started. Kingston, Rhode Island, the site of the 78th installment of the Battle of the Rams, with revenge on the line. It's Fordham and URI. It's A10 basketball, and it's next on WFUV Sports. We take you inside the Ryan Center in suburban Rhode Island for Game 13 of the 2026 Atlantic 10 season. It's the 14-10 Rhode Island Rams hosting the 13-12 Fordham Rams, getting set for a 12 p.m. tip. Joe Henry, happy to be back with my partner Tucker Austin. We spent the last week in sunny California for the Super Bowl, and we come back to a Fordham team that is heating up in its own right. Tuck, a 15-point comeback win over St. Joe's a few days ago, now officially with more A10 wins and more total wins than it had all of last season, and still 6 games to go. Feels like first-year head coach Mike McPaio is at the beginning of something special here for the Bronx.
Certainly a step in the right direction, Joe, and happy to be back here with Fordham basketball after a little hiatus. It's a big difference between out in Northern California, it was nice weather the whole week. Now we're up here in Kingston, Rhode Island, where the air is bitter and chilly. There's snow everywhere. But, Joe, these are two teams that don't really care about what's going on outside of this arena right now. They are focused solely on what is about to go down inside the Ryan Center today. Two teams that are desperate for wins anywhere and any way they can get them. We saw that out of the Fordham Rams last time against St. Joe's, putting up a stellar defensive performance at the end of that game to make that full comeback and get a big win on the road. Now Fordham goes on the road again, and like you mentioned, 6 games left in the regular season, but that's plenty of room to move up in the standings a little bit, chase down that first round bye in the A10 tournament.
Fordham looking to win its 4th contest in 6 games. Rhode Island trying to snap a 2-game skid. We caught up with Fordham head coach Mike McPaio pregame to hear more. Coach, big comeback win on Tuesday. You get the extra day to prepare. How do you sustain and build on the momentum that you got?
Yeah, I think that there should be, anytime you get a big road win, there's some confidence that should build within the group, within the team. I think to do it in the fashion that we did, to go down early and then show some resolve and come back, again, gives your team some confidence that they can overcome anything. And so, we got a tough test today against a really tough physical opponent who's coming off a loss, and they'll be coming in with a lot of purpose. So it's really the desire to win is going to be the biggest factor today, I think.
You talked about the resiliency against St. Joe's. It was a stellar second-half defensive performance that helped Fordham get the win last time out. I'm talking more about how to carry that over, specifically on the defense. How do you carry that energy through to another road game this afternoon?
Yeah, I think, again, I think that we gained a lot of confidence being able to switch to our man-to-man defense in that second half. I think today, we're going to need both. I think we're going to need our zone, use our length, and make it hard for these guys who are trying to get to the paint and trying to score in the paint and to disrupt the rhythm of the game. But then we're going to need our man-to-man because these guys, they push in transition and they're elite. Rhode Island is elite in transition, so we're going to have to sprint back, sort out, and really stop their main scorers, which they're very talented. They got a bunch of guys, but number 23, Cochran, will be a big focus for us.
And on your own side, past week, to see the kind of progression of Abbas Bodicha, the progression of Roracor coming back from the injury, to get more out of Louis Lesmond. What have you seen from kind of the secondary pieces that have started to kind of round into form as you guys have started to pick up wins?
Just the whole, it was a full team effort last game, and we're always going to win with team. And to see a guy like Abbas step up with a double-double, and then Rikas bounce back in a big-time way with 19 and 8. And when Day-Day didn't score the ball as well, but he was able to defend who I thought was one of the best point guards in the league, St. Joe's point guard. And then Christian Henry bounced back with a big game, got to the free throw line 10 times and gave us a paint presence offensively. Just to be able to name it, Roar hit a big three and had some really beautiful, like, just hustle plays out there that galvanized our group. Just to be able to name all those guys. Marcus played 11 minutes, and then Louis played 27 minutes. And just so it was a real team effort, and that's what we're going to hang our hat on. And we're going to need everybody tonight.
Inside the Ryan Center, we get started here. Game 13 of the A10 season. URI wins the tip, and we're underway. Inside, it's Tyler Cochran, the superstar combo guard, fading away and hitting a jumper over Louis Lesmond to get us started. 2-0 Rhode Island, first 20 seconds of play.
Oh, what a pretty shot that time from Cochran. Exactly why he's the reigning A10 men's basketball player of the week, Joe.
Fordham and its Road Maroons to get started. Louis Lesmond tipped on a pass inside towards Schulte, stolen away. Rhodey moving it right to left to get us started. Up 2-0 early on. Cochran on the right wing, swings it left side. Pass caught by Alex Crawford, the power forward, driving inside and Bodija, met by Schulte, blocked, and a jump ball called as he came down with it.
It's a good defensive possession that time by Bodija. The double-double last time out for the Fordham Rams. Big step up from number 0 in maroon. Going to see if he can continue that movement forward today.
5 for either side. We mentioned Louis Lesmond back into the starting lineup. First start since November 30th in favor of Chris Henry. Akira Jacobs getting his first touch on the right wing, joined by Rika Schulte, who has it up top. Lesmond, Reeves, and Abbas Bodija are the 5 for Fordham. Reeves has it on the right side corner, gets a left side screen from Schulte, finds him on the roll, passes out Bodija. Now top of the key, Lesmond is 3, no good. Offensive rebound, Schulte pulled it down with one arm. New 20 for Fordham as they look to open up the scoring. About a minute and a half elapsed from Rhode Island. Reeves, top of the key, drives left side, hangs and finishes off the window as he goes tumbling to the floor to even us at 2 early on.
Excellent move through the paint by Day Reeves that time. Is a wide bag for Day Reeves. Under the basket, on the elbow, wherever he can get to. If he finds an open spot, he's going to score.
Rhodey the other way. R.J. Johnson, the point guard. Cochran on the right wing, the combo guard. Drives inside, kicks out, now up top. Crawford, his triple try. No good off the right side of the iron. Rebound, racked in by Reeves.
Joe, we've seen 2 threes early from both of these teams, but neither squad has a player in the top 10 in the conference in three-point shooting. The closest man is Jameer Tripp.
Jacobs is close too. He'll try a 3 off of the iron. Rebound, Schulte, another jump ball. Second in as many minutes. This one will go in favor of Rhode Island.
Schulte going to work on the glass early on. Possession arrow pointed towards the Rhode Island Rams, but Schulte doing some hard work in the paint, second in the A10 in rebounding so far this season, already making his presence known under the basket.
2-2 early on, 17:40 to go in the opening half from Rhode Island. Right side, Cochran, a 3 is good. Tyler Cochran makes the game's first 3, and it's 5-2 Rhodey.
That's too good of a look for a player as talented as Cochran in the corner. Fordham got to close out on him.
Reeves the other way to initiate the offense for Fordham. The lone guard out there. Finds Abbas Bodija, the redshirt freshman, working on the right wing. Bodija doubled in the corner, passes out to Reeves. Off the fingertips, out of bounds, a turnover for Fordham.
And R.J. Johnson was covering Day Reeves, put some pressure on him. Johnson, who didn't start until 4 games ago. This is 5th start in a row. Rhode Island with a lot of minor injuries this year. Johnson worked his way into the starting lineup, now getting starter minutes.
And Johnson, 14 assists in his last 2 games, just 1 turnover. Second in the entire conference in assist-turnover ratio. Feeds a pass inside to Crawford. Now left wing, Cochran, a 3 is good. 2 triples for Tyler Cochran early on. And the reigning A10 player of the week is keeping the momentum for Rhodey.
And Cochran was 2 of 8 from beyond the arc last time out against George Washington for this Rhode Island team. Now already 2 threes made in this game.
8-2 Rhode Island early. Schulte has trouble with an entry pass, able to recover at the left elbow, driving inside and called for a travel. 3rd turnover in 6 possessions for Fordham.
Yeah, see a lot of that call against Fordham women's basketball, moving that foot a little bit before you put the ball on the floor. They're going to call that a travel every time. They want you to start the dribble first.
Rhodey off to a hot start, 8-2, 16:30 to go opening period. From the Ryan Center in Rhode Island. Pass outside from Itizere, picked off by Reeves. Goes flying into the Fordham bench as he saves it. Then they'll get it back and move things the other way for the Rams in need of a spark. Reeves cutting towards the right side. Defended well, kicks it out right wing, Jacobs. Jacobs, double team, looking for options. Swings it left wing, Lesmond. Lesmond puts the ball on the floor, moves to the right elbow, bounce pass corner. Jacobs, triple try, no good, off back iron.
That's one of those that has to go, Joe. A wide open look for Akira Jacobs in the right corner. No one on Rhode Island even bothered to go try to cover him, but still couldn't get it to go.
Reeves to the floor, scrapping for a steal. Gets piece of the ball on Tyler Cochran, who for a foul called. It's going to go against Reeves, who poked the ball loose, was the first man on the hardwood, and ends up getting whistled. But that hustle from Day Reeves, as we've seen it all season, trying to will Fordham into a game that it starts out slowly. Not often that the A-10's leading scorer is also always the first guy to the floor on a loose ball.
Yeah, and that's something we've seen develop with Day Reeves over the course of this season. At the start of the year, Fordham was not this scrappy team that was going to battle as much for 50-50 balls, but I think we saw the full fruition of that movement against St. Joe's, where there were guys flying all over the place, bodies everywhere, and now early on in this game, Day Reeves trying to carry that energy from the St. Joe's game into this one and bring the rest of the team along with him.
First media timeout, this Fordham offense scuffling early on, scoreless in its last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It's 8-2 Rhode Island as we step aside from the Ryan Center in Kingston, RI. 8-2, 15:52 to go in the first half. Be right back with more Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sipple, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Joe Henry, Tucker Austin, courtside at the Ryan Center in Rhode Island. 8-2 Rhodey early on. Quick check-in on the X's and O's side. The coaching matchup, of course, Mike Magpayo in his first year with Fordham, 5 years at UC Riverside out west. Brought them from the dumps of the Big West to unprecedented success. Moves east to the Bronx to try and do the same. On the URI side, Archie Miller, 4th year with Rhodey, 53-65 overall record. Was head coach at Dayton from 2011 to 2017. Was 8-0 against Fordham in that span. Won 2 A-10 titles in his last 2 years. Was a coach of the year. He took the head coaching job at Indiana for 4 years before landing here in Kingston, trying to replicate the success that he brought with the Flyers to Rhodey on the other side of the A-10. Won 9 games in his first year, then 12, then 18 last year. So a couple of program builders on either side trying to will their teams to relevance here in what's a really muddled A-10 pack this season. Tucker, feels like both teams taking steps in the right direction in recent weeks.
Absolutely, Joe. In recent weeks and honestly over the course of the whole season, like you mentioned, Rhode Island is currently on track to finish perhaps better than last year. Last year was their best season under Archie Miller, and then Magpayo, of course, in his first season. Anything's better than the last seed in the tournament, Joe.
Absolutely. Fordham was the 15th seed in the tourney last year and took down Rhode Island in the first round of the game. Their first meeting since then, so some revenge on the mind of Rhodey. Back to play, Johnson, left wing, cashes the triple. And Rhode Island's out to an 11-2 lead.
There's not much you can do if you're the Fordham Rams when a team is this hot to start a game from beyond the arc. Fordham has to try and get some easy buckets here, try and chip back into this lead.
Rhode Island, not a great three-point shooting team, but they have been just that so far. Core checked in for Fordham, trying to get a spark offensively. Henry gets his first touch, top of the key, guarded by Johnson. Henry probing the right side of the floor. Henry using his body, loses the ball on the baseline, recovers, fades away, hits off the side of the backboard as the shot clock dwindles down, and Rhode Island will take it the other way. Johnson on the left wing, drives right side, finds Corey, who's blocked in transition by a core. Now Reeves up ahead, Reeves to the cup, Reeves is fouled and goes down and will get 2 shots at the line as his shot careens off the backboard. A much needed spark for Fordham off the turnover.
Joe, a mammoth rejection on the other end by Rora Core. That ball nearly came and hit the scorer's table. It rolled all the way out past the three-point line after Acor's huge block. I mean, the length of Roar Acor, it gives Coach Magpio so many options defensively and offensively. He's a threat on both ends of the floor. He's really growing into a refined player as this season progresses. Day-Day Reeves at the line now for 2 after the block.
Reeves on his first is good, sporting his signature aqua Nikes with the silver stripe on the back heel. He's worn them almost every single game this season, and clearly there's some good luck in them as the A-10's leading scorer has really willed this Fordham team to success at parts this season. One of the encouraging signs for the Rams is that Day-Day had an off game on Tuesday, had just 13 points, 4 of 13 shooting, and yet Fordham's still able to come back and get a win. Reeves' second is good as well, so Fordham up to 4 points, down 11-4, 14:44 on the game clock in the first half.
Big points to kill that early run, Joe. Now Fordham needs to string a couple of stops together.
Fordham have been scoreless nearly 4 straight minutes. Johnson, left wing, pass inside. Oh, a 360 slam from Itijere.
Goodness gracious, Joe. He just brought the roof down. Keon Itijere, what in the world? 360 alley-oop slam to go up by 9.
Leaves the building in shock. Chris Henry the other way. Schulte at the nail, jumps inside, pass out, Jacobs corner, 3, missed another one. Rebound Itijere.
Definitely needed that one too, Joe. Needed some kind of an answer for that emphatic dunk on the other end.
Rhode Island feeling it. Johnson, step back 3, off back iron. A foul on the rebound will go against Akira Jacobs, who's grappling for position with Alex Crawford. It will stay with Rhode Island. And Rams here early on, 13-4 with 13:57 to go in the opening period.
Right now, Joe, it seems like the Fordham Rams don't really know what hit them. They ran straight into a buzzsaw to start this game. And then I really don't know how else to describe that. That was the biggest dunk I have ever seen.
Maybe the biggest dunk that I've seen.
Sure.
Left wing Crawford up top by Itijere, who was the dunker. Looks for a dribble handoff, finds Tyler Cochran, right wing. Cochran spinning on Henry, cutting inside the right side, is held up, and another jump ball, the third of the game, will go Fordham's way. So Fordham finding a spark by forcing turnovers early on.
That's something that Rhode Island certainly knows how to do. They have a very positive turnover margin, worth top 5 in the A-10. But Fordham so far has been doing their utmost to try and turn Rhodey over. Haven't seen many steals yet out of Rhode Island, which is sort of their bread and butter when it comes to turning over opponents. Christian Henry on the ball now for the Rams.
That starts with Tyler Cochran, not only the team's leading scorer and the 11th leading scorer in the A-10, but also averaging 3 steals a game, good for second in the country. Fordham the other way. Henry pressured, throws it out of bounds, looking for Marcus Green. Another turnover for Fordham. It's 4th early on.
Fordham got to start limiting those turnovers. We just talked about how Fordham was managing to turn URI over quite a bit in this first half, but still a lot of unforced errors out of Fordham.
13-4 Rhode Island, 13-13 to go in the first half. R.J. Johnson swiveling towards the right side, finds Jonah Hinton, the St. Bonaventure transfer, checked into the game. Hinton, right wing, pulls the trigger and drills a 3. Jonah Hinton with the triple, and URI is up by 12. 16-4, an onslaught early in the Ocean State. 13:01 on the stop. Game clock. Fordham needs a timeout.
Yeah, it's a good timeout by Coach Magpio, who's really got to get a handle on his team at the start of this one, Joe. It's just so interesting because it was almost impossible to game plan for this kind of a start from Rhode Island. They have not been a three-point shooting team whatsoever all season. But right now, they're riding 4 of 6 from 3 to start this game, plus the emphatic dunk, pretty much everything going in the direction of the Rams. There's quite a few fans in the building, too, making some noise for their school, URI. And Fordham really just needs to slow things down. They look a little bit rushed. There's been some mistakes on the offensive end, some passes going through the hands. Just need to slow things down a little bit, get some easy buckets, build their own score a little bit, not worrying as much about the actual deficit, and just try to put some points up on the board, because we've played plenty of basketball already in this game, and Fordham only has 4 points on one made bucket from the floor.
You mentioned it, 4 of 6 from 3 for Rhode Island. This team's only averaging 31% from distance on the season. Not a good three-point shooting team, but they have been so far today. Opens up a 12-point lead. Fordham, no stranger to double-digit deficits in the first half. They overcame one against St. Joe's to win on Tuesday. Marcus Green, left wing, checked in, bounce pass inside Bodija, working the far side block. Bodija back to the basket, spins to the baseline. Has the ball tipped away by Johnson into the hands of Itijere. Rhode Island the other way. Johnson running the point. Johnson. Underhand pass finds Crawford. Resets Johnson. Guarded by Henry. Deep on the left wing. Rhode Island trying to seize the momentum. Johnson swings it left side. Hinton. Hinton guarded by Akor. Bounce pass Cochran left corner. 10 on the shot clock for Rhode Island. Cochran cuts inside. Gets past Henry. Kicks outside. Johnson another three. No good off right side of the rim. Roar Core the rebound, and Fordham the other way. Still 16-4 Rhode Island. 12 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first half. Jacobs, right side, finds Green. Marcus Green tied up in the corner. Kicks back outside. Henry will steady things at the logo. Faces a double team. Picks up his dribble. Kicks out corner. A core three. Air ball long. Rebound Hinton. And Fordham really struggling on offense so far. Rhode Island by 12 with the ball. Hinton drives inside. Thinks about a shot. Passes outside. Now Crawford. Left side corner. Step back on Jacobs. His triple. No good. Rebound. Snared by Bodija.
Fordham going to need one of these threes to fall. 5 to start from behind the line.
Henry working the baseline. Kicks it left side. Green. Triple is good. Much needed from Marcus. A 3+ minute dry spell, and Fordham is up to 7, down 16-7 with 11:15 to go in the opening half.
Right on cue, Joe. They had to end that cold streak from 3 if they were going to work back into this one.
Hinton the other way, kicks it out Johnson. Back to Hinton, draws a pump fake on a core, bounce pass inside, trickles out of bounds. Itijere misread it on the potential give and go. And Fordham forces another turnover and finally is able to stem the tide that has been URI so far.
Not sure if that was Itijere not reading the play well or R.J. Johnson getting a little bit ahead of himself and throwing that pass inside before Itijere was ready to move. Either way, a miscommunication on the offensive end for URI and an unforced error gives Fordham the possession. And Rhode Island now scoreless in the last 2 minutes. Fordham's been doing a good job defensively. They've hardened up a little bit. They just need to start finding those buckets. They got one out of Marcus Green from 3. But, Joe, with the way that they've shot the 3 to start this game, unless Marcus Green and maybe another player or two can get hot from 3, I really think Fordham's got to start attacking the paint more. They have plenty of size. This Rhode Island team isn't particularly big in any way. So if Fordham can just attack the lane, attack the rim, they can start to chip away a little bit.
That's been the recipe for success all season long for Fordham, but Rhode Island has done really well to deter the ball from getting inside so far. A lot of the turnovers forced have been above the break. Fordham just not getting any kind of downhill depth and penetration so far, and the result, a 16-7 Rhodey lead early on, 11:02 to go at our second media stoppage as we kick things over west to the Rose Hill Studios. Ryan Deptula adds your one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan have started, and last night's Team USA action was not without drama. U.S. ice dancing duo Madison Chalk and Evan Bates put on a show for the fans and were neck and neck on the scoreboard with a duo from France. But a French judge ultimately made the deciding call in which he favored the French duo by 7 points, more than double the differential of any other judge in the competition. The majority, in fact, favored the U.S. France takes the gold medal and Team USA silver, as the U.S. considers an appeal for the decision. The story last night, however, was American figure skater Ilya Malinin. After building himself a comfortable 7-point cushion in first place, the self-proclaimed quad god failed to complete his typically unbeatable routine, failing on his famous quadruple axel. Malinin bailed on his 4th rotation and finished in a disappointing 8th place after being the heavy gold favorite. Gold went to Kazakhstani skater Mikhail Shaturov. In better news, the U.S. women's curling team defeated Canada for the first time in Olympic history. Canada was number 1 in the world and the gold medal favorites. The U.S. women's curling team takes on Japan today at 1:05 p.m. as they continue their round-robin matchups. As for U.S. hockey, they dominated Latvia on Thursday, winning 5-1 2 goals coming from the Avalanche's Brock Nelson. The boys will continue their group stage play today at 3 p.m. taking on Denmark. The medal count currently has Denmark in the lead with 10 golds and 20 total, with USA sitting in 3rd place behind Italy with 4 golds and 16 total. With your one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Ryan Deptula.
Back to play in the Ryan Center. Thank you to Ryan Deptula on the update. Tucker and I had a lot of fun watching the figure skating and curling competitions last night in the hotel, but now we take to the hardwood. Chris Henry in the inside for Fordham, stepping back and hitting a 10-footer to get things back up started for the Rams.
Oftentimes, Fordham's team success has hinged off of the success of Christian Henry. If he could get going now, still relatively early on in this game, could be a game changer for the Fordham Rams.
16-9 Rhode Island. Henry rips the ball away from a defender and picks it up. A big turnover force from Fordham as they look to go on a run here. Henry the other way, rejects a screen from Jacobs, driving the left side baseline. Guarded tightly. Henry bodying his way inside, sends a man to the floor, steps inside, draws the foul, and finishes with the lay. Chris Henry on a mini 4+ run of his own.
And a shoulder shrug, Selly to go with it. Christian Henry, how do you do under the basket? Draws the contact from Jonah Hinton, goes right to the rim, gets it to go. He's got a chance for a 3-point play now. Interestingly enough, Jonah Hinton was just a few games, came back off the bench last time out against George Washington, still off the bench today, usually a starter for this roadie team.
Henry off front iron, back iron, and in on the free throw. Makes it a 4-point game all of a sudden. 16-12 Rhode Island, 10 minutes to play in the opening half. Up top, it's Hinton, guarded by a core. Hinton swings it to the right side. Jalen Harper checked into the game. Left side, a triple try. No good off the back iron. Offensive rebound, Cochran. Cochran double teamed inside and fouled by Roar Core.
Don't hate that foul out of Aurora Core, Joe. It was a battle under the basket. Really nice rebound work that time from Tyler Cochran. Cochran reached up with one hand and came down with that board. Nice and strong, but a couple of Fordham defenders in the area. Core a little bit too handsy, draws the foul.
Foul on the floor, so it'll be a right side baseline inbound for URI. Miles Corey gets it in to Itijere. Hinton with it up top at the edge of the URI logo. Guarded by Reeves, trying to end it. Hinton, double team, kicks it right side. Cochran spinning inside on Jake. Talk about figure skating. A pirouette from Cochran gets Rhode Island back on the scoreboard.
A little double Lutz through the paint with the footwork inside and a nice soft touch with the right hand.
18-12 Rhode Island. 9:15 to go opening period. Akira Jacobs left wing kicks it outside Henry. Henry driving the right side. Henry draws some contacts. Foot floater. Chris Henry on a 6-0 run by himself. 18-14, 4-point game. 9 minutes to go opening half. Driving inside and drawing a foul is Jalen Harper.
Yeah, I believe that one's going to go against Christian Henry. But it's actually Day-Day Reeves. Looked like Henry was in the area, but Day-Day, that's going to be his second foul here, Joe, early on, and it's on the shot, so sends URI to the stripe. Down goes the first one.
Harper, a freshman out of Philadelphia, went to St. Joe's Prep High School and then went to A-10 rival Rhode Island for college and has seen his minutes go up in recent games with Fordham transfer Jamir Tripp out of the lineup. The last two has really emerged into a superstar for Rhode Island after 2 years with Fordham. Went from
Like a 15-footer. And I think a 24 is like a 3.
game to well north of 12 with Rhode Island.
Yeah.
The layup on a pass from Henry. He was wide open, and Rhode Island's taking it the other way. Harper draws some contact. Can't finish with the left hand. Gets his own miss. Blocked by Schulte, but a foul. And on one end, Schulte blows the layup. On the other, commits a foul. A rough stretch for Fordham.
And, Joe, that last play is not as painful because of the miss underneath. And, yes, it was a wide-open look on the layup that he did go to glass. But Joe, of that play was that it was such a good pass from Christian Henry.
Yeah.
He looked the entire defense off to the left and then fired it no look to the right, straight to the bottom underneath the basket to a wide open Schulte. Just couldn't get it to go. Those are the kind of buckets that you might look back on at the end of this game. If it's a close one down the stretch and wonder, could that have been the difference? Still, though, a 6-point game here with Rhody at the line.
Surprising after Schulte exploded for 15 points in the first half against St. Joe's. A little bit of a slower start this time. Harper splits a pair at the line, the latter a miss. Retrieved by Rohr, and Fordham working it the other way, trailing by 6. Still early on, 20-14, 8:20 to go. Henry at the Rhode Island logo. Bounce pass right side Jacobs. Jacobs looking to penetrate. Spins towards the middle of the floor. Hangs and misses on the jelly lay. Rebound Harper. Rhode Island trying to push it the other way. Harper working on Henry. Harper left side. Skies for the layup. Strong on the miss. Rebound retrieved by Rhode Island. Back outside to Crawford. Left wing. Kicks it left corner. Corey working inside on Henry. Corey hits on the 6-foot bunny.
I mean, you like that defensive possession. Yes, it ended in a bucket for Rhode Island, but it was a very high percentage. Look, Fordham doing a great job guarding the perimeter after that start for Rhode Island. Hot from 3. Now Fordham locking down the exterior.
22-14 Rhode Island. 7:40 to go opening half. Schulte has it on the far side. Low block. Pass deflected out of bounds as he looked for Henry. It will stay with Fordham with 9 on the shot clock.
Rhode Island doing a great job of disrupting Fordham's offense and forcing Fordham into shots late in the shot clock. We saw that shot earlier from Christian Henry from behind the backboard that went off the side of the backboard. And now a tip out of bounds. Rhode Island just doing a really great job of keeping Fordham from getting in rhythm, but I still think it's to Fordham's credit that they've been able to work back into this a little bit. They went on that 8-0 run. Another run like that has them right back in this game, Joe.
Deflections and disruption early on from Rhode Island has them out to a 22-14 lead. As we step aside, it'll be Fordham ball when we come back. 7:35 left in the opening half. You're listening to Fordham Men's Basketball Sports.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
Joe Henry, Tucker Austin back in the Ryan Center. 22-14 Rhode Island, 7:35 to go in the opening half. It's that time of year, Tuck. The race for byes begins now. Remember, all 14 teams make the playoffs in the Atlantic 10, but the top 10 get a bye, the top 4 get 2 byes, and the standings are as tight as can be with just 6 games to go. Fordham, winners of 3 of its last 5, tied for 10th in the A10, 1.5 games back of URI in 8th, and URI just 1.5 games back of St. Joe's, who's in 4th place. So huge implications for this game and really for all games moving forward. It's that time of year.
Joe, you love a tight battle in the standings down the stretch, especially when you get down to the single digits in games remaining. Fordham with 6 to go. Rhode Island, I believe, has 7 left on their schedule, including today's game. Coach Magpio this week around practice, where he's so focused, and the whole team is really focused on this home stretch of the last 6 games of the season. They know that they can do nothing to change what's already happened this year. Fordham is well below 500 in conference play, but with an opportunity and enough games left to pull back to within 500 or above 500 before the end of the regular season. It's going to be interesting to see if Fordham can do that, but it starts today, Joe.
Out of the break, a core right wing misses on the triple try. Rebound URI. Be Miles Corey to bring it up for the Rhody Rams. Moving it right to left here in the first half from the Ryan Center. Up by 8, 7:15 to go, opening half. Crawford, top of the key, swings it right side Corey. Corey driving towards the left on Henry. Steps back, swivels, pulls up, and drills the 12-footer. Miles Corey has URI back up by double digits, 24-14.
And Joe, it started to expand beyond just the three-point shooting. Rhode Island is really, really efficient so far in this game. Over 50%, 53 to be exact, from the field.
Henry cuts inside, has the ball ripped away. Other way, Corey. Corey to the cup, takes contact, and will go to the line for two off the foul from Jacobs.
And big contact indeed, Joe. Corey still flat on the floor, now up to his knees, and now back on his feet. Still crouched, though, and now standing up straight. Corey, that was big contact under the basket, Joe. A good foul from the Fordham Rams to prevent the easy bucket, make them earn the points the hard way. Fordham still down 10, as they have been down for a majority of this game.
6th turnover of the day for Fordham. 2nd of the day for Chris Henry, who has really struggled with the giveaway bug at times this year. Sends Miles Corey to the line.
Still, though, Chris Henry 3 of 4 shooting to start his day, and made his sole free throw as Corey misses the first. Like I said earlier, a lot of times Fordham's success is hinged on Chris Henry, but it's not always, and I think we saw that in the St. Joe's game last time out for Fordham. A lot of different players stepping up. We already mentioned Abbas Bodija's performance against the Hawks, as Corey hits the second and goes 1 of 2.
Corey on quite the hot streak for Rhode Island, averaging 16 points per game over his last 3. One of just 2 players on this roadie side to start in every game so far this season alongside Itijere. It's a guy in his 6th year of Division I basketball, or rather of college hoops in general, and he carries a 109-58 all-time record, so a true winner at every level as he looks to lift URI to a higher plane here in 2026. Fordham the other way, trailing now by 11. Roar Core top of the key, guarded tightly by Johnson. Kicks out Schulte, right wing, will try a triple. Schulte drills one from the right side of the floor. Rika Schulte brings Fordham back within 8. Their first made 3 of the game, make it their second from the big man.
That's a big one from Schulte. He's been taking so many more threes when he gets the opportunity.
Cochran inside the other way, finishes over a core, and Rhode Island gets one right back. Tyler Cochran up to 12 points early on.
That's a cool and collected answer from Cochran for Rhode Island. Couldn't get the 3, but gets inside and gets an easy 2 just to remind Fordham that he can do that whenever he wants.
27-17 Rhode Island, 5:50 to go in the opening half. Lesmond working the right side baseline, draws a jump on a pump fake, goes up, draws contact, misses on the shot, but will get 2 shots at the line. Encouraging signs from Louis Lesmond.
That's a nice move under the basket from the Frenchman. Lesmond spent 4 years at Harvard, but only played 5 games in his sophomore year due to injury. Has international experience at the U16 and U19 FIBA World Cup with Team France. Had a slow start to this season for Fordham, but has slowly been building confidence, and I think Coach Magpaio has recognized that confidence building in the fact that he gave Louis the start today.
Yeah, first start since late November for a guy in Lesmond who's really struggled from the field all season long, who missed extended time with a back injury, but is starting to heat up for these Rams at the right time. Lesmond 0 for 2 on his trip to the line, both off of back iron, and Rhode Island will move it the other way, still up by 10, 5:40 to go opening half. R.J. Johnson calling the shots for Rhode Island at the logo. Swings it left side, Hinton. Fordham dropping into a 2-3 zone here. Hinton, left wing, will pull the trigger on a 3. Misses off back iron, rebound Bodija. Fordham the other way.
That was a pretty deep look that time. Fordham will be happy with that.
Left wing, missed off back iron. Was wide open early shot clock, pulled the trigger, couldn't hit. Rhode Island the other way, still up by 10. Just north of 5 minutes to go opening period. Right side, it's Cochran. Ball is swatted out of bounds by a core. Will stay with URI on the dribble handoff attempt.
Coach Magpaio with some emphatic directions for Rikas Schulte. Schulte's played a majority of this game, despite that smoked layup early on and a couple of fouls, but
How good is Whitworth?
Still, he hits that 3. That's got to change the mindset entirely, Joe. Like a clean slate.
Rhode Island by 10, 5 minutes to go in the opening half, trying to extend that lead here. RJ Johnson, left wing, kicks it right side, Hinton, thinks about a deep three. Back to Johnson, bounce pass, entry. Now to Itijere. He loses the ball, diving on the floor to retrieve it as a core. He gets there. He stepped out of bounds on the baseline, diving, and it will stay with Rhode Island, but just 4 on the shot clock, and that wakes up this Fordham bench.
I'll go with that, Joe. I think he did maybe put one part of his body out of bounds when he fell on that basketball. I thought I saw the possession arrow change directions for a second, but it's still in the direction of Rhode Island, so imagine it wasn't a jump ball.
4 seconds to work. Ball lobbed into Crawford. He'll fade away and draw a foul from Bodija. A costly one will get Crawford 2 tries at the strike.
That's a tough foul to take if you're Abbas Bodija. Almost looked like it wasn't a foul. He faded away and there was barely any contact, but thinking Bodija maybe caught a piece of the foot of Crawford. Either way, credit Crawford for being able to draw the minimal contact, enough for the referee to blow the whistle and send him to the line.
There were just 2 seconds on the shot clock when Crawford pulled the trigger on that one. Now he goes to the line and will miss his first off back iron. Crawford, the redshirt senior out of California, transfer from Fresno State, carries the lowest offensive rating on the team among rotation players, lowest effective field goal percentage too, but he is one of the team's best defenders, so a classic kind of glue guy playing the 4 for this Rhode Island squad. Won't fill up the scoring card, but an impact player nonetheless.
Could probably get a big transfer.
Crawford well off on the second. Back left of the iron, rebound retrieved by Rohr.
The interesting thing for Crawford too, Joe, is that he also can slot into the starting lineup if they need him to. That's what he did today with Jameer Tripp out.
Fordham the other way, still trailing by 10. 4:30 to go. Bodija, left corner, working on his man. Bodija draws a blocking foul on Crawford. So a foul from Bodija to Crawford on one end, from Crawford to Bodija on the other. Fordham will have it right side of the baseline. Shot clock resets to 20, game clock at 4:31.
Joe, you could file that with things you love to see out of Abbas Bodija, the redshirt freshman. Showing some prowess there, one-on-one, moving the basketball.
Off the inbound, Reeves, right wing, double team for a moment. Penetrates the middle of the floor, puts up a wild layup, and air ball retrieved by Crawford. Uri the other way. Corey, cross-court pass to Cochran, working the right side baseline. Deterred by Bodija, has to kick it back out to Crawford. Uri trying to mount a double-digit lead here. Corey cuts inside, deterred by Lesmond. 10 seconds to work for Corey. Calling the shots from the right wing. Guarded nicely by Lesmond. Cuts inside, steps back, steps through, off glass, no good. Rebound Bodija. Fordham the other way, and Rohr is coming up limping down the floor for the Rams. Okor will get it on the left wing. Bounce pass inside to Schulte. Schulte, far side, low block, working on Itijere. Schulte kicks outside. Reeves wide open, 3. No good, off back iron. Rebound Corey.
It's another good look from 3 for the Rams that they can't knock down.
Rhode Island still up by 10. Cochran steps inside. Cash on the 14-foot floater to extend the lead to a dozen. 29-17, final 3:15 of the first half as Rhode Island starts to shift things back into gear here in the Ryan Center.
It seems like every time Fordham attempts a 3, whether they make it or not, Tyler Cochran makes it his personal mission to go on the other end and give an answer from 2-point land.
Reeves knifing inside, pass outside, Lesmond, 3, no good from the left wing, rebound Cochran. Fordham scoreless the last 3.5 minutes of play. Cochran the other way, final 2:50 of the opening half. Johnson working inside on Schulte, spinning back, fading and missing on the 8-footer. Created a lot of separation, but can't get the bucket to go. Still 29-17, 2:40 to go. Opening half, Reeves working the left side of the floor, spinning, fading, 12-footer is good. Day-Day Reeves all around the cylinder and in for Fordham. Much needed to stop the bleeding.
That's really his spot, Joe. I talked about under the basket earlier. Day-Day's so talented on the blocks, but when he gets to that elbow, talk about automatic.
Back to a 10-point game, 29-19. Johnson has it left corner for Rhode Island. Draws a foul from Bodija on the left wing. A non-shooting foul will send teams back to the bench here. Rhode Island still up by 10. Reminder, Fordham trailed by 10 exactly against St. Joe's 5 days ago and came back to win the game. So Fordham comfortable coming back from deficits, but still, Tucker, feels like an inauspicious start to a game that is really for the taking for Fordham.
Well, Joe, if Fordham knocks down a couple more of these threes that they've taken in the first half, this game has a much different complexion. They're 2 of 11 from 3. They've actually taken more threes than Rhode Island. They've only taken 10, but they've knocked down 4 of them. And there are a couple of other things you could look at. Rhode Island out-rebounding the Fordham Rams, which is not something that Fordham is accustomed to this year. But really, I think you look at the three-point shooting, and Fordham has used so many possessions on empty threes that Rhode Island just turns around and goes to the other end and gets a high percentage look from near the paint, and they just continue to build that lead that way. Fordham really needs to string stops together with some makes from more high percentage areas. Might need to start looking away from the three ball because, yes, a bunch of threes, if you get hot, can get you right back into a game in no time. And with 2 minutes left in the half, maybe that is the way to look. But when the threes aren't falling, that's when you got to start looking another direction. Because if you just keep shooting the three, Joe, this is the definition of insanity, to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. If Fordham continues to shoot the three the way that they are and expect something to go differently, it's not going to end well.
2:14 to play on 2:14. 29-19, the Rhode Island lead on Valentine's Day. We step aside for a moment and kick it over to Ryan Deptula with a one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
In college hoops today, we've got a plethora of top 25 matchups. Kicking us off at 12 is Cam Boozer and the number 4 ranked Duke taking on number 20 in the nation, Clemson. Clemson is looking to bounce back from a loss against an unranked team in Virginia Tech. Games being played on Duke's home court, the Cameron Indoor Stadium. Score on that one so far, 30-23 Duke. Coming up at 1 p.m., Darren Peterson and the number 9 ranked Kansas, coming off their best win of the season against number 1 in the nation, Arizona. They will be on the road taking on number 5 Iowa State. We'll keep an eye on that one moving forward. At 3, we got number 25 Kentucky taking on number 14 Florida. Florida, being the defending champs, has struggled to maintain that level of play this season. They will have a chance to bolster their record against a ranked opponent and climb their way back up the ladder. And finally tonight, number 1 Arizona looking to bounce back against their loss to Kansas against a tough customer in number 16 Texas Tech. However, Arizona will be back on their home court this time. In this one, they are 9.5-point favorites. That game starts at 6:30 p.m. tonight. I'm Ryan Deptula with your one-on-one scoreboard.
Fordham and Rhodey here in Rhode Island. Thanks to Ryan Deptula on the update. You'll hear from him again at the one-on-one halftime report in just a couple of minutes. 2:14 left in the opening half, 29-19 Rhode Island, as R.J. Johnson steps to the stripe to try and sink an and one free throw, or rather a one-on-one, and he hits on the front end and will earn a second. Tucker, season 50 of Atlantic 10 basketball. A couple teams here with a combined 76 years in this league and meeting for the 78th time today. So far, it's been all Rhode Island as Johnson sinks the second, 31-19. Rhodey up by 12. Final 2:14 of the first half.
So you got to wonder if Rhode Island didn't have a little bit more impetus coming into this game after their season ended in a very disappointing fashion last year. Fordham became the first 15 seed to ever advance past the first round of the A-10 tournament last year against this Rhodey program.
A revenge game for Rhode Island. It's been that so far. Rhodey by 12. Reeves cutting inside, draws a foul on the drive, not in the act of shooting.
And what should be just the 5th foul against Rhode Island, and it is. So Fordham takes it under the basket.
Henry to get it on the right side. The 5 for Fordham, Schulte, Jacobs, Henry, Reeves, and Akor to close out the first half.
Joe, what a backwards half this has been. Rhode Island out-rebounding the Fordham Rams outright, but Fordham with more steals than Rhode Island.
Bizarre. Henry, entry. Jacobs missed on the left wing 3. Offensive rebound, Schulte, who puts it back up and in.
Tell you what, Joe, Schulte was not going to miss that one.
After the air ball last time, made sure to put this one down off the O-board. Back to a 10-point game, 31-21. Final 90 seconds of the first half. Drissa Traore inside. Kicks out Cochran. Touch pass Johnson, right side, working on Reeves. Johnson caught up at the right elbow. Gets it back at the right wing. Swings it right corner. Corey trying to work on Akor. Corey tied up, middle of the lane. Corey fading away. Akor got a piece of it into the hands of Schulte. Fordham trying to win these last 2 minutes here. Still down by 10, final 70 seconds of the opening half. Henry working the middle of the floor. Nearly has it ripped away by Cochran, but a foul called on the reach-in. Cochran, again, 3 steals a game, second in the country. Have to watch out when he's the on-ball defender. But Fordham forcing the 6th team foul for Rhode Island, not in the bonus yet. We'll get a side-out inbound on the near side here with 21 on the shot clock. Final 66 seconds of the first half, trailing by 10, but trying to put a dent in that before we head to the locker rooms.
Joe, Chris Henry is the Fordham Rams' leading scorer despite coming off the bench in this game. He's also been moving the ball pretty well, but Schulte's been doing an excellent job on the boards. He's really been the anchor for the Rams so far.
Henry will get it in the right corner off the inbound. Henry working the baseline, draws contact from Hinton, has to pass it back out to Reeves. 8 seconds to work for Fordham, 53 on the game clock. Reeves going to work. Crossover dribble, step back 3 is good. Day Reeves, a big triple to cut the deficit to 7.
Joe, they were working on step-back threes in the shoot-around last night. When they arrived at the Ryan Center, they got about an hour of practice in, and Day Reeves steps back and drills that. He could do that in his sleep.
30 seconds to play in the first half, 15 on the shot clock. Cochran inside, working on Schulte, has to pass it back out. Johnson on Henry. Johnson drives the right side, 5 to work, step back, 16-footer, off front iron and out. Jacobs the rebound, 15 seconds to go. Shot clock turned off. Day Reeves will slow things down. Fordham trailing by 7, looking to cut this deficit a little bit further. Reeves with 3 to work. Reeves, left wing, step back triple. No good, too long, off the window, the glass, and out. And that's how the first half will end. 31-24 Rhode Island, as Fordham starts slow but picks things up down the stretch just as they did against St. Joe's. And an encouraging final 2 minutes here from the Ryan Center.
Absolutely, Joe. I would say an encouraging final 2 minutes because Rhode Island didn't score in the last 2 minutes of that half, Joe. That's 2 different 2+ minute scoring droughts that Fordham has forced against URI in this first half. They've gone on runs during those scoring droughts, so they haven't squandered those opportunities either. Joe, this lead has been as big as close to 12 for URI, but Fordham now back within 7. They had a huge opportunity there at the end of the half to maybe cut it to a little bit more, but 7 is a very, very manageable deficit going into the second half when you're coming off of a game against St. Joe's that you played a much stronger second half than your first.
Absolutely. Fordham held St. Joe's to just 22 points in the second half of play. They'll look to do that again here after 2 different 3+ minute scoreless stretches for the Rams. They're still somehow within 7, 31-24. The bad news, URI 8-0 this year when leading at the half. That's what Fordham has to contend with in the second. It's halftime from Kingston, Rhode Island, 31-24 Rhode Island. As teams head to break, we'll head to the Rose Hill Studios in the Bronx, New York, where Brendan Shorey and Ryan Deptula have your one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome into the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one halftime report. Brendan Shorey alongside Ryan Deptula. And Ryan, they say basketball is a game of runs, and it seemed at the very beginning of this game that URI, they had that longer run where they immediately jumped out to a double-digit lead. But Fordham, their defense forcing a couple of scoreless droughts for this URI offense, and it seems like they're kind of getting back into it now.
Yeah, it does feel like they're starting to get back into it. A lot of basketball is about winning the margins, which is something that Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla likes to emphasize, even though I don't like Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla because I'm a Knicks fan. But winning the margins, being the last 2-3 minutes of the quarters, seem to be the most important times in basketball to really pick it up and make sure that, hey, no matter what stance you are within the game, maybe you're down 10, maybe you're down 15, if you win the last 3 minutes of a half or quarter in the NBA, that's going to bring up the morale moving forward for the team.
And not just the morale at that, but you also have that momentum with you whenever you're able to close out a half, close out a quarter, like Fordham just did. I mean, the last 2-3 minutes, URI went scoreless. Fordham cut into the URI lead. They brought it to 7 points, 31-24. Rhode Island leads now, and momentum is obviously a big thing in sports. And is that kind of something that we're going to look for in the second half? Do we think Fordham's coming out with that momentum, coming out with a little more energy because of the way they close out the first half?
Of course, yeah. You got to imagine the locker room in these types of situations. I've been inside locker rooms, playing in my past in these situations. The team that's going on the run towards the end of a margin goes into the locker room, clapping their hands, high-fiving each other. We got this. Let's go. The team that may have given up a couple points in the end goes into the locker room, and they're mad that they're not up more. They don't have that. They don't, or maybe they give the message, a positive message, but they're like, hey, settle down. We're all good. While the other team goes into the locker room and says, hey, we're really on them. We're getting it going now. There's a lot more energy on one side, being the momentum going into the half that Fordham has, that I think we could see moving forward.
And I think a big part of the reason for that in this game, at least, is you look at the turnovers. And Fordham with 6 turnovers throughout the first half, but it seems like a majority of them, at least, were in the first, I guess, what you would consider the first quarter of the game, the first 10 minutes of this half. It seems like a majority of their turnovers were there. And then down the stretch, take that last 10 minutes of the half, they turned the ball over last. Maybe the shots didn't quite fall, but they were no longer giving URI free possessions. And I think that's a big part of why they were able to kind of cut into this lead.
Yeah, obviously you never want to give up an immediate run to the opposing team, but oftentimes you got to settle into a game, especially when you're on the road. You're coming into not a new gym, but a different gym than you're used to with fans. A lot of momentum. We had talked about momentum prior. Home field advantages, home court advantages are innate momentum for the home team. So it's something that our Fordham Rams have to overcome.
Yeah, and three turnovers in the first 6 possessions. That's where you really saw Fordham kind of get ahead of themselves a little bit, kind of fumbling around. And I honestly, a bit of that kind of can come from, we saw Christian Henry come off the bench today, which is something that we really haven't seen this season, something that the Rams are very unfamiliar with. Christian Henry leading that second unit, and I think that kind of played a bit of a part. He usually is that kind of guy who gets out there, calms the team down, handles the ball, brings it up the court. But he wasn't out there for the first few minutes, and this Fordham team kind of slacked off a little bit in that area. And so I'm interested to see what kind of approach they take with Christian Henry.
Yeah, it feels like they made a little bit of an adjustment, like you said, Christian Henry being a guard, a primary ball handler type character. They opted to start Louis Lesmond, apparently seeing some sort of confidence, some high-level shooting. And he ended up playing more minutes, so it feels like they saw the ball handling abilities, saw his ability to tone it down, and he took control of the game moving forward.
And all Fordham fans, they know the backcourt of Day-Day, and Christian Henry is one that is very active, very good taking the ball up, not very turnover prone. And really the strength of this Fordham team is when they have both guys on the court. So it was interesting to see Christian Henry take some time off at the beginning of the game, come off the bench, and then come in. And I know that's something that Coach Magpie has kind of been stressing, not necessarily stressing about, but thinking about is how can he run the offense with only one of those guys out there, and whether that's just Christian or just Day-Day. It seems like that was kind of a bit of him trying to figure that out at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I think Louis Lesmond has have a bit of a underperforming season so far, and I think he's played a little bit better in the last couple games, so giving him some minutes is good for his maybe injecting something within him they feel could help the team. But obviously the backcourt seems to be the recipe for success for us, both good basketball minds, stable presences on the court, so I think moving forward we could see more of that.
There's a few other kind of key stats you could look at in this game. The first one I want to look at is the 3-point shooting. You have Rhode Island 4 of 10 from 3, Fordham 3 of 14. Not that great.
Yeah, and one of those threes came from 20% 3-point shooter Riku Schulta. So strange little three to mix in there.
And it's something that we've kind of seen throughout the track of this season. It's just the three ball has been a little streaky. Some games, if it's on, and they'll shoot it 40, 50%. But then you also have those games where they're shooting the three ball at 10%, 12%. So right now, sitting at 21% from 3 of 14, just something that I know the guys on the broadcast mentioned it. You just hope that a few more of those are going to fall in the second half.
Yeah, I think Mike Magpio is a very analytics-driven coach and tends not to be swayed by the ups and downs of the game itself. He's looking to shoot a lot of threes, whether they're going in or not. He is confident in his analytics and confident in his team that they will eventually fall. Whether they do or not, basketball is not played on an analytics sheet. It's played on hardwood. So we are not sure if it'll actually come to fruition. But I think Mike Magpio sticks to his plan. No matter if they're shooting good or not, he believes in this team could shoot, and we're going to keep shooting.
And a big part of that, Akira Jacobs, 0-4 from 3 this game. And that's a guy who has been very consistent for this Fordham team. There was a point back when Fordham was playing against George Washington where Akira Jacobs accounted for close to 50% of the threes over the past 4 games in that stretch, which is just an insane stat to me, at least. But Akira Jacobs, 0-4 from 3, just his impact on this team being that steady, that most reliable three-point shooter is just, again, hoping some of those are going to start falling for him as well.
Yeah, and then again, that's the analytics side of Mike Pio as well. I'm sure he does not care if he takes another 10 threes or takes another 5 threes because he has trust in his player that he can make them. You're going to take those shots all day with your potentially your best three-point shooter taking open threes. You take that all half.
Yeah, they like those shots with Akira Jacobs, whether it's a corner 3, which we have seen a lot from him this season, or somewhere else beyond the arc. He has been consistent. One more stat I kind of want to take a look at here. I want to look at the offensive rebounding. And this Fordham team has been, throughout the year, one of, if not the best team in terms of offensive rebounding, second chance, third chance points in the A-10. Only 2 offensive rebounds to this point seems like a low mark for this team.
Yeah, obviously in the absence of Whitbourne, you got rookies, you got tall rookies. We like to play big guys, but sometimes it just doesn't bounce your way. Again, coming into the away court, sometimes it feels like the effort is there, maybe a little dreariness, a little like we got to get going. Maybe the first 10 minutes, like you said, was kind of a warm-up to get you involved into the setting and get you adjusted, and hopefully they could turn that around because it seems like that's their game and how they'd like to play moving forward.
And again, going back to that GW game a couple of weeks ago, they had I want to say 4 offensive rebounds in the first few minutes. Obviously, you have both Schulte and Whitbourne out there. No Whitbourne today. Schulte is in the lineup. 3 rebounds for him to this point. But that's just like something this team has kind of strived and been so good at, is getting those extra opportunities and converting. Whether they convert or not, they give themselves that extra chance to go and add some more points to the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, also another issue, like we brought up, the 3 for 14 from 3 does not enable as many offensive rebounds possible. Longer rebounds, more unpredictable rebounds, not any like putbacks. Oh, grab it and missed it, get it back off their backboard. None of that. So that could be a factor for the lack of offensive rebounding. A missed 3 is anyone's game, and it favors the defense.
Yeah, Fordham trailing Rhode Island 31-24. The three-pointers not falling to this point. But that is going to be all for us from the one-on-one halftime report down in the Rose Hill Studios in the Bronx. Brendan Shorey here alongside Ryan Diptula, and we are going to send it back to Joe Henry and Tucker Austin for the second half of this game.
Second half on the way from Rhode Island. It's URI and Fordham here in year 50 of Atlantic 10 basketball. Their first matchup since Fordham knocked off Rhodey in the A-10 tournament last March. Brendan, Ryan, great job as always on the halftime report. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin to take you the rest of the way. It's 31-24, the Rhodey lead through 20. The lead was 12, now down to 7. And it's been the Stars leading the way early. Tyler Cochran with 14 for URI. Day-Day Reeves with 9 for Fordham. But, Tuck, as we've touched upon, the past 2 weeks have shown that for Fordham, you need more than just one guy to earn these A-10 wins.
Absolutely, Joe. And you look at Day-Day Reeves, he's got 9. He had a pretty solid first half. He picked up a couple of personal fouls, but they were pretty situational, so really nothing to knock him down. Meanwhile, Christian Henry put up 7 off the bench, but that's most, if not all, of Fordham's scoring. Schulte started to turn things around at the end of that first half, but we talk about supporting cast. Akira Jacobs, no points yet. Abbas Bodija has not taken a shot yet from the floor after a double-double against St. Joe's. You kind of have to wonder, where did the confidence go for Bodija? Is it the defense locking him down? He has had some pretty good defenders that he's been working on in this game, but to not have a single shot up yet after putting up double-digit points in your past performance, it seems like things aren't quite adding up. But you also add the foul trouble. Jacobs with 2, Bodija with 2. We already mentioned Reeves has 2, but Akor's got 1. Roar Akor, another guy who was also 0 from the floor today, and he started. So 2 starters with no points, and then Bodija and Lesmond both with no points off the bench for the Rams. They need to find that production from the whole team. It was a great team win, as Magpio would put it, in the St. Joe's game. They need another team performance here in the second half, and I look to the defensive side of the ball because the defense is what got Fordham over the hump against St. Joe's last time out. Today, in this second half, the defense needs to be there again. They gave up 31 points in the first half. Ideally, they want to give up fewer than 31 points in this second half. It's going to be a tall task because this is a very talented and efficient Rhode Island team, as we saw from that first half. But I trust in this Fordham defense, and I trust in their ability to switch from man to zone. We saw it a bit in that first half. I think we're going to see a lot more man in this second half, though, as Rhode Island tries to speed things up and get going in transition.
It was the man defense that forced St. Joe's to just 22 points in the second half of Tuesday contest. Fordham, a 15-point comeback win in that one. And you talked about the defense. Fordham now ranked 16th in the country in opponent points per game, allowing just 65 per contest so far. And you talked about the three-point shooting as well. The Rams just 3 of 14 are the Maroon from 3. They're shooting just 27% on the conference season, one of the worst marks in the country. 29% from 3 on the season as a whole. That's bottom 10 in D1. Look, it's not a strong suit, but still, your best 2 shooters in Roar Akor and Akira Jacobs need to see a couple go through here in the second half if you want to come back.
Absolutely, Joe. And I know at the end of the first half I said Fordham should probably start to look away from the 3, but this early part of the second half is when you got to start throwing those 3s up. Whether they go or not, you got to at least get your opportunities in now, because what you don't want, worst case scenario probably, is to be down by double digits or more than 10 late in the second half and be forced to start looking for 3s late, because that makes it such an easier task defensively for URI.
Yeah, you could look at it as a positive or a negative, but Fordham really got a lot of good three-point looks in the first half. They just weren't converting. It didn't feel like they were forcing up a ton of shots. They just weren't hitting on them. That's going to have to change if the Rams want to come back and win this one. And the three-point defense has been a key too. It really struggled in the first half against St. Joe's when they ran the 2-3 zone, and St. Joe's exposed it. Rhode Island's done a little bit of the same. They're 4 of 10 from 3, but they were 4 of 6 to start the game, and then they missed their last 4 from distance. So the three-point defense starting to heat up. I think that Fordham held St. Joe's to something like 1 for 12 from 3 in the second half. So a key aspect of the second half here is going to be the perimeter shooting on either side for a couple of teams that have been inconsistent at best from distance. Rhode Island will start with the ball here in the second half. Near side in the half court, it will be Tyler Cochran to get us underway.
And it's perfect that he's inbounding it, Joe, because this has to be the focal point defensively for Fordham in this second half. Cochran went 2 from 3s, perfect on the game after the first half. Fordham's got to figure out a way to slow down the reigning A10 player of the week.
Cochran on the right wing to get us started. Cuts inside, left side, misses on the layup. Contest from Schulte. He gets the rebound as well. A stop to start the second half for Fordham.
How about that, Joe? A little bit of an announcer's curse for you.
Sides will switch. Fordham and its Road Maroons working it right to left here for the second half of play. Trailing by 7. Reeves. Pass inside Bodija. Near side on the block. Working the baseline. Double team. Goes up for the layup. Misses on the shot. Schulte comes crashing in for the rebound. Can't handle it. Rebound URI. Johnson with it. Kicks out right wing. Crawford thinks about a 3. Drives inside on Schulte. Draws contact. Fades away. Misses on the 10-footer. Itidre tries to poke away the rebound. Retrieved by Jacobs. Fordham. 2 straight defensive stops here in the second half.
Great job by Schulte that time to stay home and stay grounded, wait for the pump fake, and then still contest the fadeaway.
A minute elapsed in the second period of play. Still 31-24 Rhode Island. Lesmond on the right wing. Looking to keep carving into this deficit. Entry pass to Bodija on the far side. Kicks out to a cutting Reeves. Reeves, right elbow jumper. Missed off front iron. Tip from Schulte won't go. Rebound Cochran.
Day Reeves couldn't get into his timing that time with a hot pass.
Cochran coast to coast, passes out late. A three-point try is good from Miles Corey to open the scoring in the second half. Rhode Island backed up by 10.
The perimeter defense fell apart a little bit. Fordham got focused on the interior. They got 2 stops in the painted area, but got a little too tunnel visioned and left that corner look open.
34-24. Bodija, left corner, 3. Missed off back iron. He was wide open. Rebound Cochran again. He's going to push it once more. Cochran trying to go coast to coast. Bodies up. Jacobs finishes with the lane. No whistle. And Tyler Cochran has URI up by 12.
Quick timeout by Coach Magpayo after what could be considered a run to start this second half for Rhode Island. They came out of the gates swinging. And the Fordham Rams, very similarly to that first half, Joe, came out a little bit flat-footed to start this second half. They've kind of been backpedaling on defense with Cochran going very strong every single time. Like you mentioned, Joe, pushing the pace every time Rhode Island has possession. Fordham's got to get into that man now to try and stop this transition. That last play, Akira Jacobs just couldn't get there in time to set his feet and draw the charge. No contact. I'm actually surprised that they didn't call a foul and give Cochran the and one that time.
Yeah. On both possessions, it's been Cochran snaring the rebound himself, the 6'4" combo guard, taking it 94 feet, penetrating, sucking in the defense on the interior. On the first possession, he passes out for a corner 3. On the second, he decides, hey, I'll do it myself, draws some contact, puts up the layup. And in a game like this against a team like Fordham, yes, 5-0 is a run. That's what it's been to start the second half of play. 36-24, 18:04 to go in the second half. We'll step aside for just a moment. More Fordham men's basketball coming your way on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports.
Hello everyone, I'm Trey Rodriguez, calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. We're live every Saturday on YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later at night on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We cover the latest news in the sports world with our wide range of beat reporters, as well as exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes. We'll see you next Saturday on One-on-One.
Joe Henry, Tucker Austin back in the Ryan Center. 36-24, URI, 18:04 to go in the second half. Here in this nearly 8,000 capacity arena, decked out in dark Rhode Island blue on the brick-laden campus of URI, which celebrates its 134th year here in 2026, and URI celebrating it the right way here early on Valentine's Day, up by a dozen, 36-24, 18:04 to play in the second half. Tucker, a mini run, all Tyler Cochran early on.
It's been all Tyler Cochran all day. Was the entire engine of the Rhodey offense in the first half. Now he's propelling them forward here to start the second half. Like I mentioned right before we started the second half, Fordham has to find a way to stop him from getting to the rim because it's just so easy for him.
Right wing Henry, back to Reeves up top. Reeves putting the moves on his man, cuts inside, draws a foul on the shot, and Day Reeves will go to the line for 2.
You got a big rejection that won't count for Itijere. A la Pat Ewing, just sending everything away. Don't let him see the ball go in the hoop. It's a good mental battle, a tool in the mental battle, rather, for URI. But Day Reeves should see it go through twice here.
Reeves to the line for the second time today, 2 of 2 on his first trip, shooting north of 80% on the year. He cans his first. Reeves averaging north of 17 points per game, good for first in the entire A-10. Guy who scored in double figures in every single game this season. And you can count this game as one of them. Up to 10 points, make it 11 as he swishes the second. 36-26 as Fordham breaks out a full court press for the first time today. Rhode Island will break it with ease. Johnson across the timeline for URI. The shot caller for the Rhody Rams. Right side Corey, now up top Crawford. Cochran gets a touch at the left wing. Dribble handoff back to Johnson. Right side Corey. Corey will penetrate on Reeves. Corey tied up, kicks out. Crawford left wing now. Cochran another triple try. No good, but a foul called on the shot. And it's going to send R.J. Johnson, make it the shooter, to the line.
And it's an image that we've seen a few times today, Joe. A dejected Abbas Bodija, just looking really disappointed in himself. It's now his third foul of the day, and this time it was on a three-point shot that was a miss. Those are the kind of fouls that you really wish you could have back, especially if you're a young player like Bodija. The first one was good.
Some confusion on the floor. I think they're ruling it a two-point shot attempt from Johnson.
I believe they are, Joe. They've awarded him 2 shots at least.
Fortunate for the Rams. Johnson hits on his first, the second up and good. Back to a 12-point game, 38-26, 17-18 to go second half. Henry to lead the charge for Fordham the other way. At the tip of the URI logo, bounce pass right side Schulte, looks for a dribble handoff, finds Reeves. Reeves double team, kicks outside Henry, swings it left corner Bodija. Bodija trying to knife his way inside, draws contact on the drive, puts in the shot, but it will not count with the foul. It will be a Fordham baseline inbound with the shot clock back up to 20.
Either way, Joe, just as blocking a shot that wouldn't have counted anyway sort of works in the mental game, seeing a shot like that go down also can work in Abbas Bodija's favor, mentally at least.
Yeah, Bodija still scoreless in 15 minutes. Henry off the inbound, left corner, triple, no good. Off front iron, rebound, Itijere. Rhode Island the other way, working it with some pace. Johnson the right side, guarded by Henry, shakes him loose, cuts inside. Johnson loses the ball, now picked away by Henry. Henry with the steal, Henry out in transition. Fordham with numbers, Henry looks left side corner, Akor, three is good. Roar Akor with the triple, and it's a 9-point game.
That one desperately needed to go, Joe, and I feel like I've said this multiple times today that Fordham desperately needed a 3 to go down, but all those open looks, some of them have to fall eventually. That one does for Roar, and he gets a steal.
Akora steal the other way. The true freshman doing it all for Fordham. Reeves to Henry, left wing, cuts inside, dump off past Schulte, double team, puts it up anyways, off the window and good. And Fordham on a 5-0 run of its own.
A bit of a stoppage there, Joe. Looked like the referee had something to say to Roar Akor. Maybe he touched the basketball on the other end.
After the basket from Schulte, Roar Akor picked it up and placed it gently on the floor. That was enough for a delay of game warning. Rhode Island the other way, now leading by just 7. Corey, right side, kicks it left side, Johnson. Johnson hanging in the air on the baseline as the ball ripped away by Reeves. Now Fordham in transition for a third straight time. Reeves cross court to Henry. Henry thinks about a corner 3, will probe the baseline, hang in the air, won't draw a foul, the ball is loose, scatters out of bounds. It will stay with Fordham with 21 on the shot clock. Chaos here in the Ryan Center as the momentum shifts towards the Maroon.
Joe, that play looked like, at the end of that play, it looked like if you've ever seen that clip of the high school basketball game where all the fans come out of the crowd and everybody's pointing in both directions, the referee just walks out of the building. That's what it looked like just now on the floor. The Fordham Rams and the URI Rams, everybody pointing the direction they wanted, but it is going to stay with Fordham here. Fordham back within single digits now, putting together some good possessions on the defensive end. URI almost looking a little bit lost on offense, like they can get it close to the basket, but they're trying to make that extra pass that just isn't always there, and it winds up in a loose ball. Christian Henry has picked up a loose ball. Day Reeves has picked up a loose ball. Roar Akor has picked up a loose ball, all in the last 3 minutes or so. 3 turnovers by URI in the last minute and a half.
So 3 straight turnovers from the Rhody Rams. They're up to 8 to Fordham 6. Rhode Island turnovers are the X factor for this team. They force turnovers at as high rate as anyone in the conference, but they also give the ball away at a really high rate too. They're 13-3 this year when they win the turnover differential. They're 1-7 when they do not. They're on the wrong side of that right now. That's the encouraging sign for Fordham as we step aside once more. 38-31, Rhode Island up by 7, but Fordham mounting a run. They'll have the ball when we come back. 15:49 to go from the Ryan Center in Rhode Island. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Alex Diaz.
And I'm Mary Hannah Gallagher.
And we're the host of All In, a women's sports podcast.
On All In, we discuss everything women's sports, from the WNBA, the AUSL, and NWSL.
No matter the sport, we have you covered.
You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
Well, to close the first half, Fordham shrunk a 12-point deficit to just 7. They've done it again here in the second half. Staunch defense to start the second period. It's 38-31, Fordham trailing by 7, but on the right side of the pendulum swing. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin. What have you seen on this Fordham run the past 2 minutes to get right back in this game?
Defense, 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 Joe. The defense has continued to look solid as it did at the end of the first half, now into the second half. Yes, there was an early URI run, but Fordham, after the Magpio timeout, immediately locked back in defensively. They're shutting down the perimeter. They're making it very difficult to move the basketball when it's in the painted area, and it's creating some stops that are allowing Fordham to close the gap a little bit, now just down by 7.
Left side baseline inbound triggered by Henry into a core. Now Schultz top of the key as we get back started. Reeves tied up at the right wing, looks for a core. A core will take it and draw a foul from Miles Core. He was trying to hedge off the dribble handoff. More good signs for Fordham. Third personal foul from Rhode Island given this period.
Fordham limiting the fouls, like we talked about, a couple of players that could wind up in foul trouble, but Fordham's been playing very clean to start the second half.
Shot clock reset to 20 on the foul. Reeves has it on the right wing as it bleeds down to 10. Henry putting the moves on Hinton. Henry, make it Reeves. Right elbow, swings it left side. Henry, triple is cash. Chris Henry has the lead down to 4 for Rhode Island.
What's so funny, Joe, is that is the hardest look he's had from 3 today, but he still hits.
Tijere inside, little flip shot is good from the A-10's field goal percentage leader. And Rhode Island back up by 6.
Cannot have that happen if you're Fordham. That's a defensive breakdown way, way too open for the man with the highest field goal percentage in the A-10 at the baseline.
Schulte the other way, left-handed hook shot is good. The big men trading buckets, and it's back to a 4-point game.
Oh, and Schulte's heating up as well. He's close to double digits for Fordham, and he's looked better with his left hand than with his right today.
40-36, URI the lead in the ball. Final 14 minutes, 30 seconds from the Ryan Center. Jonah Hinton, the left wing, picks up his dribble, bounce pass inside Cochran, steps back for a 15-footer and drills it.
Hinton keeps going up to the face, Joe. Hinton keeps going up near his face. I'm not sure if his hair is just in his eyes or if there's something bothering him with his right eye, but you see him, he's still rubbing that eye, and he did it in the middle of the possession the last time. When he had the basketball, he went up to his eye a little bit. Could be something to watch out for. Hinton has only 3 points today, but he is a very key piece in the way that Rhode Island likes to move the basketball.
Absolutely. The St. Bonaventure transfer has been instrumental to URI's success. He missed 3 games with a leg injury, but returned on Tuesday, 21 minutes off the bench. Comes back off the bench today. It started every single game prior to that, all 20 of them. This guy's a big-time X factor for this team, and it looks like he's going to stay in the game despite, as you said, reaching to his face continuously. Fordham showed a double team on that possession. He had the ball dealing with a double team, and he still chose to use his offhand to motion towards his face as if something was going wrong. But he will step back outside off the timeout. Rhode Island back up by 6 thanks to Tyler Cochran's continued heroics here. 42-36, 14-29 in the second half. Fordham will get the ball here. Both teams hot offensively the past couple minutes of play.
I think, Joe, maybe he took a shot up high off the face, maybe some incidental contact.
Fordham with it, Bodija. The right elbow, steps inside as the ball picked away by Cochran. There's the A-10 steals leader. Cochran in transition is fouled by Henry intentionally to stop the fast break opportunity.
That's the first time we've seen Fordham employ an intentional foul to stop Cochran, but I like the decision there because so far, nothing has stopped Tyler Cochran when he's got a full head of steam going towards the basket. just getting your hands on him before he can get inside the three-point line could be the best option, but Fordham has got to be careful with that. There's still 14 minutes left in this game and some change, so you don't want to start picking up fouls on players that don't need them. It was a good foul, though, from Christian Henry, the first one of the day for him.
Yeah, it was a really heady play from Henry to recognize the situation. You got a great fast break player in transition. You haven't committed a foul yet. You've got one to give here. Why not? Be a side out inbound on the near side, triggered by Cochran. It's Rhode Island up by 6, 14 minutes and change in regulation. Looking to work against this 2-3 Fordham zone defense. Struggling to get penetration so far. Right wing, Hinton thinks about a three, kicks out Cochran, wide open, triple is good from the corner. Tyler Cochran, a big one to put Rhodey back up by 9.
And Joe, that's the big sacrifice that you make when you switch to a zone. It sometimes is hard to switch on and off the basketball, wide open look in the corner.
Another steal from Cochran, he's up to 2. Cochran the other way on the right wing, working on a core, gets a left side screen, probes towards the right elbow, steps back on Schulte, misses off front iron on the 18-footer, rebound by Henry, and Fordham moving in transition. Henry tied up by Cochran, bounce pass to Schulte is picked away, another turnover forced by Cochran. Corey the other way, fouled by Henry again in transition, and the wheels falling off real quick for Fordham after a really encouraging stretch.
They just seem like they're rushing on offense, Joe. They're trying to move faster than their teammates can and thinking just a step or two ahead of the play. Things are starting to develop in this game where Fordham has been continually down by near 10 and time has been bleeding off this clock. Still 13 minutes to go, but it kind of feels like the Fordham offense is playing as if there's 5 minutes to go.
Fordham had forced 3 consecutive turnovers earlier this half. Now they've committed 3 in a row. Henry up to 4. Corey off the inbound, drives inside the left side, kicks it back out to Hinton. Hinton at the nail, pass to Itigeray. Oh, what an alley-oop slam.
The reach back one-handed hammer over Rika Schulte. Goodness gracious. Itigeray. He brought the house down in the first half. He just brought it down again. Goodness me. To make it 11. There's not a more emphatic way in this game. Digits, Joe. He threw that pass up behind him. He reached full extension. He reached back behind his body and windmilled it over the top. I didn't think we could see a better one than the first half dunk, but that may have been better.
Exchanged glances among 4,000 saying, did we really just see that? Schulte off the inbound, draws a foul, probing the left side of the floor. Will go to the line for 2. Can settle us down for a second. That was unbelievable.
Joe, that was a ballistic dunk. So violent, but still so controlled. The body control to even get that ball anywhere near the rim. But to slam it down with that much authority, and then he just walks back to the other end of the floor like nothing happened.
Schulte misses
Unreal.
on the free throw.
And what's even crazy, Itigeray hasn't even made like that big of a numerical impact in this game.
Yeah.
He's got 6 points today and 4 rebounds. But 4 of those 6 points are the most incredible 4 points that I've seen live in person.
He's got not 1 but 2 nominees.
I need his dunk
for
package,
Sports
Joe.
Center top
I
10.
need his dunk package for 2K. Unreal.
Schulte splits the pair, back to a 10-point game, 47-37, Rhode Island in front, 12:30 to go in the second half. Jalen Harper checked into the game, probes the center of the floor, kicks it back outside Johnson. Calling the shots, finds Hinton at the Rhodey logo right side of the floor. Double team, Reeves and Jacobs, has to give it up. Johnson on the left side, draws a screen from Traore, won't take it, 5 seconds to work. Johnson bounce pass, Hinton right side, drives inside, middle of the floor, misses on the floater. Long rebound, batted out, retrieved by Marcus Green, checked in the game for Fordham. Big one for the Rams. Green the other way on the left wing, kicks it top of the key, Reeves cuts right in front of Traore and finishes for the righty lay. 8-point game.
Here comes Rhode Island, though, the other direction. They immediately.
47-39. Rhode Island the lead and the ball. R.J. Johnson takes it left side to Hinton. Hinton, left wing, pulls the trigger, and drills a three. NBA range from Hinton. And double digits.
Clipping on us, bro. Stop hitting clips.
Timeout taken by Coach Mike Magpayo of the Fordham Rams, and he is not happy. I don't really blame him. He is giving Akira Jacobs an earful right now after that last possession. Joe, there's not much you can do when a player pulls from that far and has that kind of range in their bag. We saw him take a shot from that deep earlier that wasn't particularly close, but that one was absolutely pure, like you said, from NBA range and maybe beyond, Joe. That one was a good 5, maybe even 6 feet behind the three-point line on the left wing. And it reopens the Rhode Island lead to double digits again. They've just been keeping Fordham at enough of a safe distance where a run similar to the 8-0 run they went on in the first half would not make as big of a difference as Fordham would like. Joe, the three-point shooting, it just continues to be the Achilles heel for the Fordham Rams in this game. They just cannot get even the most open looks to go down. Meanwhile, they'll make contested looks somehow. Christian Henry knocked down a three with a guy in his face, but you get open looks from the corner. Fordham's had at least 5 or 6 of their threes today that have been wide open, and I don't think they've hit a single wide open three.
Yeah. Hitting second three, that one from its NBA All-Star weekend, so we'll say 4-point range. 10-point game, 50-39 Rhode Island, 11:40 to play in regulation. We take a quick break and send it back to Ryan Deptula with another one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
With MLB spring training game starting Friday the 20th, here are some roster changes to look for from your Yankees and Mets going into the season. The Yankees, going in with much of the same, opted to run it back with a core that couldn't get past the Blue Jays last season, perhaps to the chagrin of many Yankees faithful. Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, and Ahmed Rosario opted to return to their team in free agency, while the Yankees perhaps shed some dead weight with reliever Luke Weaver and Devin Williams both deciding to get on that 7 train over to Citi Field. Yankees ace Garrett Cole is targeting a June return and will not be playing in spring training. The Mets will be coming into the season without some familiar faces, most notably Pete Alonso, who elected to leave in free agency for a $155 million contract with the Baltimore Orioles. Another being Edwin Diaz, who joined the Dodgers in free agency. He boasted a 1.63 ERA last season. Those trumpets will be duly missed in Citi Field and warmly welcomed in Los Angeles. Outfielder Brandon Nimmo was traded to the Texas Rangers, taking his 8-year contract with them. As for the new faces, there are many. Star infielder Bo Bichette signed a 3-year deal with the Mets this offseason, being the primary splash for the Mets. They have added right-handed pitcher Freddie Peralta, first baseman Jorge Polanco coming off a career year, and second baseman Marcus Semien, and outfielder Luis Robert. I am Ryan Deptula with your one-on-one scoreboard.
Thank you, Ryan. Back to play from the Ryan Center. Final 12 minutes from the Ocean State. 50-39, Rhode Island, the lead over Fordham. And the Maroon with the ball out of the break. Marcus Green driving the baseline, loses the ball out of bounds. It will stay with Rhode Island. No, it's going to go against Fordham, and it will be Rhodey ball, a turnover out of the break.
Joe, it just seems like the Fordham Rams can't get out of their own way at this point. They put together a stop or two and maybe get a couple of scores, and then another 2-minute run after that where they're just kind of kicking the ball around and can't really get connected on the offensive end. Looks like they're still in this zone.
Rhode Island, a chance to achieve its biggest lead of the day so far, up by 11. Hinton, right wing, double team. Passes inside, Cochran. Cochran pulls up from 14, misses off back iron, rebound Bodija.
Joey thought about taking the shot off the catch. He took a dribble, could have thrown him out of rhythm.
Reeves the other way, all the way to the cup, misses off back iron, fight for the rebound, retrieved by Reeves. Reeves has it poked away into the backcourt. Marcus Green racing to retrieve it. 15 on the shot clock as Green brings things back into the front court for Fordham. Green will slow things down. Double team, swings it left side, Reeves. Now Jacobs, corner, triple, missed off front iron, offensive rebound, Bodija puts another one up, a foul called on a third shot attempt as he came streaking in, hitting the floor, and will be rewarded with a couple of shots.
Bodija, this could be a pretty underrated part of his game. He's a very physical player, especially under the basket. Looks like he may have taken a shot to the back of the head there when he went to the floor. Referee giving him a second to recollect himself here. But Bodija is such a powerful player under the basket. When he does get that offensive rebound, when he decides to go back up with it, it's very hard to stop him from getting back to the rim without committing a foul. He knocks down the first free throw.
First point of the day for the redshirt freshman. UC Riverside transfer comes over with Mike Magpio. Makes it a 10-point game. Bodija up to 3 turnovers today. Does have 4 rebounds coming off of a really big performance. His second career double-double against St. Joe's. He misses on the second, a foul called. It goes against Fordham on the rebound, so it'll be Rhode Island ball. Foul goes against Roar Core. His second team foul, or his second personal. 4th team foul for Fordham. Louis Lesmond will check in for Marcus Green as the Rams down by 10 will roll out Reeves, Okor, Lesmond, Jacobs, and Bodija to try and go on a run. 10 minutes, 30 seconds from the Ryan Center. URI having trouble bringing it across the timeline. Johnson finally gets it across. Johnson, the cusp of the URI logo. Guarded by Lesmond. Entry pass to Cochran. Ripped away by Reeves. Cochran to the floor. Retrieves it. Bounce pass towards the baseline. Trickles out of bounds. Fordham ball. A turnover forced first by Day Reeves.
Interesting call there, Joe. Thought it might have been last touched by a Fordham Ram, but I think the maroon and white will take that break, and they'll take any break they can get at this point in the game. Half of the second half going to be gone during this possession, and Fordham still tantalizingly close here, down by 10 as they have been for a majority of the game.
It's hovered around that mark really all day. Okor, left corner. Back up top to Reeves. Left side screen from Jacobs. Reeves working left side on Cochran. Steps into an 8-footer and drills it. Day Reeves makes it an 8-point game.
Got to compartmentalize the second half of this game, Joe. Play it as a fresh 10 minutes and try to get URI on the ropes.
Full court press from Fordham, broken by URI. But the Maroon giving Rhodey a little bit of trouble in the full court. Itijere, 16-foot flip shot, no good. He shoots with only one hand, no supporting hand, and that time he misses. Reeves the other way, inside. Passes back to a cutting Bodija. Bodija in the restricted area, misses. The follow good from Okor. A foul called before the layup went in. It will be 2 more shots at the stripe for Bodija.
Hey, Bodija going back to the line here. Fordham is doing a much better job on the offensive glass now in this part of the second half, Joe. Just at least getting a hand on the basketball and preventing clean defensive rebounds by URI. It's turned into 2 trips to the stripe for Bodija now. Knocks down the first.
Meanwhile, leading scorers either side. Reeves up to 15 points, 5 of 10 shooting, 5 rebounds as well. Tyler Cochran up to 21 on 9 of 12 from the field. He's been everything and more for Rhode Island. That's what Fordham's working against. 7-point game. Bodija readies for a second, releases and drills it. A 6-point game. This has been the plateau that Fordham has been unable to overcome so far in the second half as time starts to dwindle down. 9:20 to go. Rhodey by 6 with the ball. Rams looking for another stop. Rhodey looking for its first points in 2 minutes and change. Crawford at the logo. Left side Cochran working on Reeves. 10 seconds to work. Inside Itijere. Cutting. Crawford finishes with the left hand. Alex Crawford gets URI back in the scoring column and back up by 8.
That's a great bucket. If you are URI, they want to get back in rhythm, and that is exactly how their offense has looked most of the night. It was still a pretty low percentage look for Crawford on the reverse layup, but he was up to the task.
52-44. Reeves crashing the right side, misses on the layup. The follow no good from Okor. A big stop from URI. Hinton the other way. Crossover move on Jacobs. Cuts inside, steps into an 8-foot floater. Is good. Double digits once more. 54-44. 8-18 in regulation. Lesmond on the right wing. Takes it outside to Reeves. Left side screen from Bodija. Double team. Has to pass back to Lesmond. Thinks about a 3. Shoots a pass left wing. Okor triple is good. Roar Okor the 3. Right when the Rams needed it. It's back to a 7-point game.
Good work out of the catch and shoot that time from McCord. Full court press from the Rams. I expect to see this for probably the rest of the game.
Cochran across the half-court stripe, guarded by Reeves. Akor gets in the passing lane with Corey. Rhode Island recovers. Cochran, left side, 10 seconds to work. Gets past Lesmond. Cochran, hop step inside, maneuvering amongst 3 defenders, drawing a foul and going to the line.
Joe, I think that was 4 and maybe even 5. Every single Fordham Ram on the floor was under the basket, surrounding Cochran after the hop step. If he got that shot up and actually got it to go, I would have been extremely impressed. We've seen some highlight plays today, Joe, but getting a layup to go over 5 defenders probably would have taken the cake.
That's the 4th personal foul for Abbas Bodija. Remember, Jack Whitbourne, the typical starting, dealing with back spasms, his 3rd straight missed contest. So Bodija thrust into a really big role here, but now in some serious foul trouble. So we'll see the 5 that Fordham rolls out after this. Tyler Cochran heading to the stripe. Rhodey by 7, 54-47 as we step aside for a moment in the under 8 media timeout. There's 7:37 left to play from Rhode Island. We'll be right back with more Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, it's Lydia Perner.
And Grace McCarran.
And we are 2 of your hosts for 5 on 3.
WFUV's best, if only, hockey podcast.
With all the storylines in the tri-state area, you won't want to miss an episode.
How will Matthew Schaefer fit in with the Islanders?
And will the Rangers have a bounce-back season under Mike Sullivan?
Finally, will the Devils be able to stay healthy and hit their full potential?
Stick with us all season for all things NHL and Will Cooley updates on WFUV Sports.
Final 8 minutes impending from Rhode Island. It's 54-47. The Rhodey Rams over Fordham here in the Ocean State. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin for a Valentine's Day special. Tuck, few things more romantic than A10 basketball. These teams have history, right? Not a lot of love between them. Long-awaited rematch of the A10 tournament. First round from last year when Fordham ended URI season as the underdog. Now a table for 2 to usher in the holiday.
Good Lord, Joe.
had to rip the Band-Aid off all at once.
Yeah, Joe, these 2 teams are anything but Valentines, I would say. Especially given the history from last year. They split the series. Fordham won a close one by 1 at the Rose Hill Gym and got blown out here in Kingston. But then when the teams met at a neutral site in Washington, D.C., in the A10 tournament, Fordham were the ones doing the blowing out. They won that game by close to 20, Joe. And Rhode Island surely was not happy about it being such a higher seed and Fordham being the bottom seed in the tournament last year. And what a lot of people would say had no business winning that game in the first round last year, but hey, they won it anyway. And when you show up, you still got to play. So either way, you go into this year now with that history from the last season. Obviously, this Fordham program is almost night and day from last year, but I think this Rhode Island team certainly remembers the maroon and white being the ones who ended their season last year and took that into this game. It's Cochran at the line for Rhodey as Fordham still trying to claw their way back into this one, Joe. 7.5 minutes to go. There's still time for them to get back into this game, but it seems like every time Fordham strings 2 to 3 buckets together, Rhode Island just goes on a charge the other direction.
Yeah, Cochran makes on his first 8-point game. Both of these teams failed to return a single starter from last year. It's like any toxic relationship. I've changed. As Rhode Island looks for some revenge, Cochran makes on the second. Fordham with it the other way. Schulta, top of the key. Dribble handoff Reeves. Reeves with a head of steam. Hedged by Atijere. Akor, top of the key. Left side, Henry. 10 seconds to work. Henry looking for answers here. Henry will drive the left side baseline. Spin towards the middle of the floor. Hang and miss the layup. Gets his own rebound. Henry back up. Draws the foul. Finishes for 2. And lets out a primal yell as Fordham is right back in this game. 6 points. Chance to make it 5 off the and 1.
And a little touchdown celebration from Day-Day Reeves as well. He was happy to see that one. Christian Henry up to 12 points now, a chance to make it 13. He's the second leading scorer on the Rams. Of course, Day-Day Reeves ahead of him. But Fordham now with 3 players in double digits, whereas for Rhode Island, it's been the Tyler Cochran show. So if Fordham can continue this team-oriented battle, Joe, a 5-point game again. It seems like Fordham just continues to get just barely within striking distance.
55-50, final 7 minutes from the Ryan Center. URI, the lead and the ball. Fordham looking to mount another stop. Cochran on the left wing. Dribble handoff. Hinton passes it left side to Corey. Hinton thinks about a logo 3. Will step inside. Fade him on inside to Itijere. He's fouled by Okor. Anytime you see the ball thrown up in his direction, you take a sharp inhale.
My heart just sank.
Brace for impact.
He threw that up, and I think it's been Hinton every time, who has tossed it up to Itijere when he throws it down. He tossed it up again to him, and it would have been very similar to the dunk that we saw in this half, where he would have had to reach back and throw that down. Instead, this time he elects to just come down with it, and then he draws the foul. He makes the first free throw here. But yeah, Joe, I mean, there is no other way to say it. I was scared. I was scared when he threw that ball up.
Back to a 6-point lead for Rhode Island, 56-50, 6:42 to go. Itijere good on both at the line. 7 points, that's been the deficit for much of this half, and Fordham has failed to get over that plateau.
Looks like Itijere and Crawford are both going to take a seat. RJ Johnson checks back in. And Traore also back in for URI.
And for Fordham with Bodija in foul trouble, it's going to be Henry, Reeves, Okor, Schulta, and Lesmond, the 5. Reeves on the right wing. Left side screen from Okor. Reeves spinning at the right elbow now, using his body, fading away. 14-footer, short off the rim, rebound Cochran. Cochran looking to get things started the other way. Crossover dribble on Reeves. Nearly loses the ball inside. As it's stripped by Lesmond, recovers, passes out to Hinton. Big possession here. Rhodey by 7. 6 minutes plus to go. Johnson. Left corner. Now Hinton on the right wing. Hinton maneuvering along Lesmond. Misses on the layup. Swat for the rebound into the hands of Okor. Big stop for Fordham. Henry the other way. Henry trying to get past Hinton, nearly loses the ball. On the floor now, it's going to be a jump ball as 2 Rhodey players collided to make contact with the orange. And it's going to stay with Fordham. Would have been the 5th turnover of the day for Chris Henry.
Can't quite tell. I don't think they called the jump ball, Joe. I think it may have wound up either a foul or out of bounds, because the possession arrow is still with the Fordham Rams. It didn't change.
It says held ball on the live stats, but if you've ever called a basketball game, you know not to trust that at all. Regardless, it'll be Fordham with the right side baseline inbound, as Bodija with his 4 fouls will come back into the game in favor of Lesmond. 21 on the shot clock, 5:50 on the game clock. Henry the trigger man. Rams trailing by 7. Henry to Bodija. Back to Henry, left side corner. Thinks about a 3. Working on Hinton. Henry going to work. Driving towards the middle of the floor. Uses his body. Keeps separation. Passes out to Reeves. Reeves driving left side baseline. Double team drawn. Dump off past Bodija. Maneuvering the lane and finishing off the glass with the left hand.
Through contact as well, as now Bodija comes up with a bit of a limp. Not putting all of the pressure that he can on that right leg. Looks to still be wincing a little bit, but it was a nice move in the interior nonetheless.
5-point game. Rhode Island the lead and the ball. Final 5 minutes and change. Cochran swings it left side. Miles, a 3 is good. Miles Corey from way downtown, but Rhodey back up by 8.
That ends a 3-minute scoreless run for Rhode Island. Fordham had done a good job defensively, but now the Rhodey fans in attendance starting to get involved here. Under 5 minutes to play, and Rhodey still with the advantage.
Reeves the other way, into the paint, and finishing with the layup for 2. 6-point game. These teams trading punches with 4:40 left to play. 60-54. Traore on the inside, spinning on Schulta, middle of the lane, fade away, no good off the iron. Great defense from Schulta. Rebound Bodija.
He is so good in the post, Joe. He is so quiet and never bites on a pump fake. Schulta calm under the basket as he hits the deck, but there's no call.
It was off ball, no foul called. Reeves has it on the left wing, spinning towards the middle of the floor, takes a push from Hinton, has to pass out to Henry. He cuts through the middle of the lane, hangs and draws a foul. So much contact throughout that possession, and it finally ends with a whistle blown, yes, but also a Fordham body on the floor in Henry.
Joe, we are one stage away from the elbows coming out in this game. I mean, it was like, it's like night and day after we passed 5 minutes to play in the second half. Suddenly, Rhode Island, the arms were up in the air, and now they're just coming down right on top of the Fordham players when they're on offense. They're trying to work their way through the paint, but Rhode Island making it incredibly difficult to do anything close to the rim, as they should, up by 6, making Fordham earn it the hard way.
That's what they're doing here. Henry to the line. He misses on the front end, off the front iron and out. Jacobs will come in with a still hobbled Bodija. So it's Jacobs, Schulte, Henry, Lesmond, and Reeves. Henry will get his second here, trying to make it a 5-point game. 4 minutes and 12 seconds on the game clock. Crowd gets loud. Henry misses off front iron. Fight for the rebound. Jacobs crashes to the bench, can't save it. Rhode Island ball.
Landed right on top of Max Miller over there on the Fordham bench. 2 misses for Christian Henry at the line in crunch time. Not characteristic of Henry whatsoever. And that's the 6th missed free throw for the Fordham Rams in this game. 10 of 16 when they go to the charity stripe.
Henry has struggled at the line this season, but not late in games. Misses a pair there. 6-point game. Final 4 minutes. Crawford inside. Has the ball ripped away by Reeves. Reeves on the steal. Fordham in transition. Reeves trying to run the floor. Reeves on the right side, dashes through 2 defenders, puts up a shot, misses into the hands of Schulte. His shot is good off the window. Big bucket from Fordham. 4-point game.
Schulte he's robotic under the basket, Joe. Offensive or defensive end, it doesn't matter. It looks like he was just programmed to do what he does under the basket.
Schulte unfazed. Fordham within 4. Cochran with the ball. Guarded tightly by Henry. Has to give it up. Corey hitting. Logo 3. Off back iron. Schulte pulls down the rebound. Passes out to Jacobs. Fordham can make it a 1-possession game. Henry deep on the right wing. Rams trail by 4. Final 3 minutes from Rhode Island. Lesmond, entry pass to Schulte. Schulte working the low block, fading off the window and in on the hook shot. It's a 2-point contest for the first time this half.
Joe Schulte's left hand is on fire right now if they can just keep feeding Rika Schulte underneath. And there's going to be a timeout taken, believe by URI here. And it's the first time that head coach Archie Miller has taken timeout today.
How about this? A 6-0 run out of nowhere. In the last 2+ minutes, it forces a URI timeout. It's 60-58. 1 possession separating these teams for the first time since the first half.
Joe, this lead was well over double digits earlier on in this game, but it's that Fordham defense again. It's another 2-minute-plus scoring drought for URI, and Fordham taking advantage again. They are so very close, Joe. And if I'm not mistaken, it's been wire to wire for URI. Fordham in search of their first lead.
Looking to confirm that now. Fordham has never led in this game. The closest they've been was a tie at 2-2 with 18:32 to go as Tucker Austin wins the t-shirt toss. One just landed in his lap.
I'll send it back to the fans, Joe. I don't need URI merch.
Tucker loyal as always to his cause. Fordham trying to roll 60-58. Final 2 minutes and 43 seconds from the Ryan Center. URI will have the ball out of the break. They have not scored in the last 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Fordham, on the other hand, has made 4 of its last 5 shots. And as you said, Tucker, that left hand to Rika Schulte, he's got to shake it off because it's on fire.
Get him some ice, Joe. But really, I mean, Schulte had a very solid first half, and he was extremely efficient last time out against St. Joe's. 9 of 11 from the floor. Today, he's 6 of 7 from the floor, Joe. Schulte, and not to mention what he's been doing on the defensive end, he leads Fordham in rebounding with 6. He's only got 1 personal foul, so he's been playing some really sticky defense without fouling. It's been an unbelievable performance out of Schulte. Now, Fordham as a team just needs to pick up that performance. They need to pick up Day-Day Reeves' performance in this game as well. The team really has to totally now in the final 2 minutes 45 and find a way to win this game. They found a way to beat St. Joe's. They've now positioned themselves to find a way to beat URI here on the road, a second road game in a row, and looking to try to propel themselves maybe beyond Rhode Island and look towards those last 5 games of the season with an even better possible outlook. Joe, we've been talking about it all day. Fordham still with a chance to finish the season above 500, both in conference and overall. And today, a win this afternoon would be a huge step in that direction. It's going to be Rhode Island's ball to start the final 2:44. Joe, this game has been very long, and this Fordham team has been very down, but it's all led to now.
Rhode Island will look for its first bucket in 2.5 minutes. Up by 2, off the inbound. It's Itijere. Feeds back up top. Corey, guarded tightly by Reeves. Henry switched onto him. Swings it left side, Johnson. Back to Corey. He fires a 3. Off the back of the rim. Rebound, Schulte. Fordham can tie or take the lead. Henry looks to Magpio. He'll set the offense. Henry, top of the key. Works towards the left elbow, spins middle of the lane, puts up a floater, no good. Offensive rebound, Schulte. Foul called on the floor as bodies go crashing to the hardwood. It will go against URI. And Fordham will enter the bonus. It's going to be 1-1 for Rika Schulte. A chance to tie if he can hit on both.
4th foul of the game against Kiana Itijere. So he's got to be careful now. Although, actually, no, Itijere, they just announced in the arena, Itijere just fouled out.
Wow.
And he's currently, the referee is currently explaining to Itijere that he has 5 fouls, and he doesn't believe it. He doesn't want to leave the floor. There he goes now. Crawford comes in. Crawford also at 4 fouls. So they replace Itijere, who fouled out, with someone who is in just as big foul trouble as Schulte stands at the line.
And if Crawford fouls out, the only other big man on this team to have played all season is Drissa Traore, who plays about 7 minutes a game. Schulte misses on the first. One-handed rebound from McCord. Held ball from Hinton. It's going URI's direction.
That's an excellent job that time by Hinton to force that turnover on the jump ball without committing the foul. It looked like Akor was having serious issues in the paint, trying to rip that ball away, but Hinton with the precise hand placement to keep his hand on the basketball and not touch Akor. Gives Rhodey the ball back.
The clock bleeds under 2 minutes here in Rhode Island in a 2-point game. Rhodey the ball in the lead, 60-58. R.J. Johnson looks towards his coach, Archie Miller. Gets the play. Has it up top, dealing with the 2-3 zone. Johnson failing to get penetration. 8 on the shot clock. Johnson, top of the key, working on Henry. Passes out to Hinton. Hinton back to Johnson. 3 seconds to work. Johnson stuck in the corner, fires up a 3, misses off back iron, fight for the rebound. Retrieved by Cochran. Offensive board on the baseline. He draws a foul as he cuts inside. A huge play from the guy who has led this Rhode Island team thus far. An O board and a foul drawn in the biggest of moments with just 86 seconds left on the game clock. And Rhodey up by 2.
Joe, I'm almost sure that this isn't talked about enough, but Cochran's rebounding ability probably is the most underrated portion of his game.
Absolutely.
He has insane vision for where the ball is going to wind up off of the rebound. There's been multiple times in this game where he was the only guy remotely in the area of the basketball when it came down. I think that just goes to show you how familiar he is with the basketball when it's coming off the glass or off the rim like that. It was another situation here where pretty much everybody on either team was under the basket ready for that rebound. It bounces and goes far to the far side of the court, and it was only Schulte and Cochran in the area, but Cochran jumped. He was in the perfect spot to come down with that ball.
The foul is Fordham's 7th. It sends Cochran to the line for 1 and 1. 74% at the stripe this season. 2 dribbles and up for Cochran. He hits on the first.
Joe, he took a little bit of extra time on that one. Really slowing himself down. He had the 2 free throws earlier in this game where he went 1 of 2. And he took an extra second, maybe an extra dribble to set himself up for that one.
3-point game.
Big breath that time.
Cochran takes his time, releases, misses off the front of the rim. It stays a 1-possession affair. Henry the rebound. Rams trail by 3. Final 80 seconds. Henry surveys the perimeter, feeds to Reeves. Reeves inside to Schulte. Schulte the hammer! Right over Traore. He just put a man on a poster with 60 seconds to go, and it's a 1-point game.
Huge, but now here comes URI. Fordham needs a stop here, cannot leave anybody open.
50 seconds on the game clock, 20 seconds to work for URI. Up by 1, Corey with it on the right wing, feeds to Cochran. Cochran back to Corey, guarded by Reeves. Johnson deep on the left wing, passes right side, Corey, 3, no good off back iron, gets his own rebound on the long miss, feeds outside to Johnson. The shot clock resets. It's up to 15 seconds. The game clock at 30. A timeout called on the floor. Rhode Island will stop things for just a second. Is that a foul off the ball, Tucker?
They called an off-ball foul, Joe. I believe it was in the right corner. Rora Kaur took a foul in the corner, completely away from the play. The referee caught it out of the corner of his eye. Alex Crawford is at the free throw line. It's a 1-point game. The best he can do is make it a 3-point game again.
And Crawford, a 40% free throw shooter. You wonder if the coaches asked Kaur to foul him intentionally. This is just a 1-and-1. 29.7 on the game clock. 1-point game. Crawford hits on his first. A big one. 2-point game.
That's as clutch as it gets, Joe. Fordham 5 of their last 7 from the floor. Rhode Island 0 of their last 5. 1 of their last 7 from the floor. No field goals in the last 4.5 minutes, but they've been adding, just sprinkling onto their lead with these free throws.
Crawford's second is pure. 3-point game. The shot clock turned off. What will Fordham do? Ryan Center rises. Henry, Kaur, 3, got it! Off the glass and in! Rora Kaur ties it!
He banked it in! Unbelievable, Rora Kaur. I knew he had it in his bag.
Shot clock turned off, hitting on the right wing, hounded by Kaur. A foul called by Archie Miller. URI will take a breather. We are tied at 63.
Timeout, Rhode Island, Joe. What a huge shot from Rora Kaur. A right wing banked home 3. You were telling me last night, Joe, that Rora Kaur was hitting corner bank 3s. He had like 5 of them in a game, and he just broke out the bank shot again. And for the first time today, Fordham, actually for the first time since 0-0, Fordham's pulled even.
The last time it was tied, it was 2-2. 18 minutes and change in the first half. Fast forward a couple hours, 14 seconds flat on the game clock. It's 63 all. And Mr. Bank 3, Rora Kaur, an 18-year-old who is 18 and nothing more than what his birth certificate says, but plays with the maturity and fearlessness of a 6-year veteran, has tied the game for Fordham. It's a full timeout for URI.
14 seconds still to go, so that's really plenty of time for Rhodey to work with. But the way that Fordham's defense has been playing, it is going to be very difficult. I imagine Fordham is going to play up nice and close, but fouling now certainly out of the question. In a tie game, if you're Rhode Island, you got to be careful to make sure this is the last shot of the second half of regulation, at least.
Fordham, if it gets a rebound, has one timeout. Rhode Island does not. Rhode Island has not scored a field goal in the last 4 minutes and 54 seconds. To win this game, they'd have to end that drought.
Welcome to the pressure cooker, Joe. Took a while to get here, but we have now arrived.
Tyler Cochran, the superstar, 23 points today, will inbound on the near side in the half court. 14 seconds on the game clock. The shot clock, we don't need that anymore. Everyone to their feet. Ball into Johnson. 10 seconds to work. Johnson works towards the left side. Johnson back out to Cochran. Cochran working on Reeves and Henry. Has the ball poked away. He recovers. The ball is loose into the hands of Akor. The buzzer sounds. We've got 5 minutes of free basketball. The Rhode Rams rally once more. We've got overtime in the Ryan Center.
How did we get here? Really, Joe, it's unbelievable. Fordham has looked so down in this game at times, really disconnected offensively, cold as ice from beyond the arc, but none of that mattered. None of that mattered, because this team really just has found in this second part of the season, especially in A-10 play, they have now found what they have to do late in games to make it a nightmare to close out the Fordham Rams. They did it against St. Joe's. They've done it again here today against Rhode Island, and it's going to take a bonus 5 minutes to decide a winner in this one. Another battle of the Rams that could just turn into an instant classic, Joe.
The last time these two teams met, one team's season ended. The stakes aren't quite as high, but they certainly feel that way here in the Ocean State. 63-63 through 40 minutes of play. We'll need at least 5 more to settle this one. Rhode Island did not score for the final 5+ minutes of regulation from the field, and Fordham comes all the way back from what was a 12-point deficit late in the second half and forces free basketball. I don't think anyone's complaining.
Absolutely not, Joe.
Postpone your reservations. Your date can wait. A-10 Hoops is here.
Now you got to start worrying about that foul trouble, though, Joe. It wasn't going to be an issue if this game ended in regulation, but Fordham's got Bodija and Rora Core both at 4 fouls, so they both got to be careful, especially Rora Core, because if he's feeling it, Rams of Fordham are definitely going to need that. Crawford also at 4 fouls, but nobody else in deep trouble for Rhode Island. Nobody else in super deep trouble for the Fordham Rams either. But still, Fordham gets a lot of size out of Abbas Bodija, a lot of length out of Rora Core. If they were to lose one or both of them during this extra period, it could be detrimental. But this is a fresh game now, Joe. I said compartmentalize the last 10 minutes of the second half. They got to compartmentalize this next 5 minutes too. They must compartmentalize because it's 63-63. Fresh game. Think of it as 0-0. You got to take this fight to Rhode Island in their building and just get after it the way that they know how. This team knows how to close games. We know this. Threes have been a struggle at times, but they have been better in this second half now. Defensively, continue to limit Cochran. If you can keep him out of the interior, keep him out of the interior. Might even think about giving up threes to Cochran if you really needed to. But as long as you keep him away from anywhere near the basket, he's pretty much, I'd venture to say, like a 70-80% shooter when he's in the interior. You cannot let him get inside.
We'll end this game as it began. Schulte and Crawford, center circle. The overtime tip, won by Rhode Island. 5 minutes to settle this one. Brody with it, moving it left to right. Crawford on the right wing. 2-3 zone look from Fordham. Johnson, top of the key. Kicks out Hinton. Cochran, working the middle of the floor. Back outside to Johnson. Johnson finds Hinton in the corner, wide open three. Off back iron, fight for the rebound. Won by URI, Traore has it, but he passed it away into the hands of Reeves. Reeves, the full length of the floor. Reeves hanging, missing on the layup. Rebound ripped down by Traore. We've got chaos in the Ocean State. Still 63 all. 50 seconds elapsed here in overtime. Crawford back out to Johnson. Finds Hinton, another three. Missed this one too. Rebound Henry in traffic. Henry's going to move with some speed. Henry, bounce pass inside a core. The layup try, no good. He traveled before the shot.
They couldn't quite get the passing play in order, Joe. It looked like, it actually almost looked like Christian Henry traveled before passing that to a core, and then a core, of course, didn't put the ball on the floor before he started moving as well. Fordham moving a little bit too fast again there.
Still tied at 63. Over 70 seconds have elapsed from the overtime period. 3:45 to go. URI looking to strike first. Hinton, right wing, passes out. Cochran, corner, three. No good. Off front iron. Traore will bat it out of bounds. Last touch by URI. Fordham will have it.
Joe, there it was. Cochran got an open three in the corner, but I think if you're the Fordham Rams, you're happy with Cochran shooting from the perimeter rather than inside, because just based on the numbers, it's lower percentage, and it's a better chance for Fordham to stay tied.
Reeves, bounce pass. Schulte fouled. Traore came down hard on his arm, and Schulte will take 2 shots at the line, a chance to give Fordham its first lead of the day here in overtime.
There have been some really, really high leverage free throws, Joe, at the back end of this game. Christian Henry missed a couple that could have been huge for Fordham, but now Schulte, pretty much everybody who goes to the line from here on in is going to be taking the most high pressure free throws of the day. Schulte knocks down the first lead of the day for the Fordham Rams.
64-63 with 3:24 to go in OT. Remember, fouls do not reset for overtime, so Fordham's in the double bonus the rest of the way. Rhode Island's in the single bonus as of right now. Schulte's second. Off the front of the rim. Fight for the rebound. Retrieved by Traore. Rhodey will have it down by 1. Just north of 3 minutes to go in the OT period. Hinton on the right wing, working on Reeves. Fordham still in that 2-3 zone. It's worked so well. Johnson on the left side, 6 seconds to work. Bounce pass, Crawford in the dunker spot. Crawford tied up by Bodija, has to pass out. Johnson triple try, no good off back iron. Rebound retrieved by Jacobs off the tip from Schulte. A huge board for Fordham and another big stop.
Schulte has had the advantage against every single big that URI has run out there against him. Every single time on the defensive end, Schulte is up there getting a tip or getting the rebound himself.
Reeves with it, goes falling to the floor, out of bounds. They're going to call it URI ball. Thought they might call a blocking foul as Johnson, but no. As his right hip landed on the sideline, it's going to be a turnover.
It's a rough time for a bad break for the Rams. They've kind of avoided those breaks in the second half at least. Now a unfortunate bounce rears its head here in the overtime period. Got to see if Fordham can stay resilient.
Halfway through OT, and just 1 point has been scored by either side. It was Fordham, 64-63. URI has not scored a field goal in over 7 minutes. They'll try to do so here to take the lead. Cochran, guarded by Reeves above the break. Cochran drives inside, loses the ball, ripped away, and retrieved by Bodija.
I think Christian Henry got a hand on that, Joe.
And Henry will settle things down. Reeves on the right wing. Entry to Schulte. Back out Bodija. Dribble handoff Jacobs. 2 minutes to play in OT. Rams by 1. Henry on the left wing. Pass out to Bodija. Bodija will cut inside with 5. Bodija will put a shot up and miss off the iron. Rebound Cochran. URI the other way. Cochran with speed. Cochran coast to coast. Cochran splitting defenders. Cochran to the cup. Draws a foul from Schulte. And will go to the line to give Rhode Island a potential lead.
You take that one. That's an excellent foul by Rikus Schulte. Just continues to show how good of a defensive player he is, both in execution and in the mental side of the game. Knows he has plenty of fouls to give. Knows that Cochran is an excellent scorer when he penetrates. He got inside again this time without the ball getting poked away, and Schulte knows he has to make it an impossibility that Cochran puts that one through on the floor. Send him to the line instead.
So URI still hasn't scored a field goal in almost 9 minutes, but they can take the lead with 2 Cochran free throws. He hits the first.
Good, and he was close on that one, Joe. Front iron, side iron, glass, back iron, and in. touch just about every part of the basket that you can.
Fitting for a guy who's done just about everything in this game. 64 all. Cochran to break the tie. Missed it. Off front iron, rebound to Core. Of course we stay tied.
Just 1 point for both teams in the whole overtime so far.
There are 90 seconds left in the extra period. Reeves at the top of the key, thinks about a three. Reeves kicks it out. Schulte, right wing, looking for options, finds Henry. 7 seconds to work for Henry. Henry tries to penetrate. Henry tied up. Henry pulls the three. Henry drilled it! A big-time shot from a big-time player. Fordham leads by 3.
I believe they gave the timeout to. No, it was URI who called timeout. Well, it looked, no, they charged it to Fordham. Yeah, so Mike Magpio took timeout right after that three. But a massive shot from Christian Henry. Unbelievable that we've even gotten to this point. This whole game has been really unreal, Joe. Between the dunks that we've had in this game, the incredible stretches of defensive play, runs back and forth, Fordham clawing back into it and then falling back away, then finally getting it back to tied, and now with their largest lead of the day, courtesy of Chris Henry, who uncharacteristically came off the bench in this game, but has still found a way to make an impact.
It did not start, but he will finish. And for the second game in a row, Chris Henry has hit the maybe dagger. This one puts Fordham up by 3, 67-64, a minute 12 left in overtime. We'll take a quick break, be right back. You won't want to go anywhere. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex Diaz.
And I'm Mary Hannah Gallagher.
And we're the host of All In, a women's sports podcast.
On All In, we discuss everything women's sports, from the WNBA, the AUSL, and NWSL.
No matter the sport, we have you covered.
You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
An instant classic from the Ocean State. 67-64. Fordham leads over Rhode Island with 62 seconds left in overtime. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin, grateful to catch our breaths before the final push of what has been a crazy game for Fordham on the road. Trailing by 12 for most of the day. Tie it with 14 seconds to go off of a bank three from Roricor. Send it to overtime, where just 1 point is scored by either side through 3.5 minutes. And now with just over 1 minute left to go, Chris Henry hits a dagger three that URI will try to somehow come back from. But if today is any example, you can do anything in A-10 basketball, and this game is far from over. URI will have the ball, trailing by 3. Gonna have to take it the full 94 in an effort to potentially tie this game.
Joe, it has been so cool to see the translation of Fordham's work in practice and in shoot-around last night translated directly into this game. Day-Day Reeves with the step-back three earlier in this game. Now Christian Henry on the pump-fake three on the other end to give Fordham a huge lead exactly when they need it. I'll tell you what, Chris Henry picked himself up from that pair of missed free throws at the end of the second half.
Final minute of overtime. URI has it down by 3. Crawford inside, guarded well by Schulte. A foul called on Schulte. His defense will send Crawford to the line. Remember, Crawford, a 40% free throw shooter, but he hit 2 clutch ones at the end of regulation.
Schulte looked like a soccer goalie at the end of that play. He got a piece of it, enough for the foul to be called, but when the ball came back down, he just punched it away. Get it out of the paint. Get it out of here.
2 shots for Crawford. Hits on the first. 2-point game. 67-65, 52 seconds flat on the game clock.
Both teams still with a timeout here, Joe. I have to imagine the Rams might burn their last one to talk over their next possession if this one goes down.
Crawford misses off back iron. Rebound Bodija. Fordham has it up by 2 with 45 left to play.
Mike Pio's going to hold on to that timeout.
And who do you call when you need one bucket to end it? It's Day Reeves. Center court, maneuvering towards his right. Reeves with 9 to work. Reeves on the right wing, kicks outside to Henry. Henry with 5. Henry looking for a dagger 3. Missed off the front of the iron. Fight for the rebound. A foul called on a core. It's going the other way. Rhode Island is in the double bonus. They're going to have 2 shots and a chance to tie it with 19.7 to go.
That is, oh, that's really tough. A core just fouled out. And it really looked like Fordham almost had a chance at the basketball on the other end. I thought they were going to get the offensive board as it was loose going towards the Fordham bench, but the whistle stopped play, and it was a foul against Roar Core. He's done for the day with 9 points on 3 of 5 shooting, all from three-point range. 6 rebounds and an assist to his name as well. Meanwhile, on the other end, it's going to be 2 free throws guaranteed for Tyler Cochran, who's already got 24 today, and he's 3 of 6 in his trips to the stripe so far.
A 74% free throw shooter on the season. His first is pure. 1-point game. 67-66, Fordham the lead. Cochran can tie with 19.7 to go.
Fordham's still in a better position here. If he does hit this to tie, I assume Rhode Island will take timeout. Fordham with 19.7 on the clock. The shot clock is turned off.
Cochran misses off the back of the rim. Rebound by Schulte. Schulte gets it into the hands of Reeves. Reeves is fouled by Cochran. And Day Reeves will have 2 shots at the stripe with 15.5 on the game clock. Could make it a 3-point game.
That's a questionable call at best, Joe. I think the referee knew that there was the possibility of an intentional foul, but it looked to me like Tyler Cochran was doing everything in his power to keep his hands off of the offensive player. And actually looked to the referee as if, like, why did you just call a foul on me?
It's funny because they did need to foul, but I think they would have wanted to get it out of the hands of Day Reeves, who's not only an 80% free throw shooter, but a clutch one too.
I mean, once it got to Day, I doubt Day was going to give it up. But huge, even bigger free throws here for Day Reeves. Here comes the noise from the Rhodey faithful.
You can hear it. Reeves will quiet him. He makes the first. 2-point game. A second free throw incoming. Could make it a 3-point game with 15.5 to go. Either side has 1 timeout. Both teams in the double bonus. Akira Jacobs into the game for a core who fouled out last possession. Reeves' second is good. Rhode Island calls timeout.
Chris Henry wound up on the floor. He comes up touching his right ankle a little bit. Thought, was there, no, it was a substitution. I thought maybe Coach Miller for URI called timeout, but he did not. Likes to pocket the timeout with 15 and a half seconds to go.
We'll see if maybe they want to get it into the front court, then call the timeout to draw up a half-court play.
Ball is in. Make it easy.
URI breaks the press. Corey will have it. URI will not call a timeout. Johnson for 3. Missed off back iron. Rebound Bodija. He is fouled. And Fordham might have just stolen one on Valentine's Day.
URI, eat your heart out. The Rams of Fordham are here to ruin their Saturday afternoon. Abbas Bodija with a chance at the line to put this one effectively out of reach. Still 4.1 on the clock, but he's got a chance to make it a 2-possession game here as some of the Rhodey faithful start to hit the stairs, Joe.
4.1 on the game clock. Bodija has 2 shots. Fordham up by 3. It was Bodija who went to the line against St. Joe's and hit a pair of free throws to effectively end the game. 5 days later, he stands at the stripe with a chance to do the same. He misses the first off the back of the iron. He needs to hit the second to make it a 2-possession game. 4.1 seconds to go. Rhodey has a timeout, so if they get the rebound, you'd expect they'd take it.
Not sure what R.J. Johnson was doing, just kind of chilling by the free throw line there between shots.
Again, a 3-point game. Bodija's second is good. All around the cylinder and in. Rhode Island timeout with 4.1 to go.
I think it was Fordham that actually called timeout, Joe. Coach Magpayo wants to talk it over with his defense, probably reinforcing the fact that Fordham cannot touch a player on URI. Just don't touch anybody. It's a 4-point game. Even if URI inbounds it immediately and chucks up the shot, even if it goes down for 3, it'll be, and it'll probably be less than a second on the clock by that point. So Fordham just needs to keep it clean, keep things calm, and just play the good defense that they've been playing all day. Here, a thriller in Kingston, Rhode Island. And certainly a game, Joe, that could be sort of a springboard for this Fordham team. You string a couple of wins together, both on the road, against solid A10 opponents, maybe not the top of the league, but still solidly mid-table and where Fordham wants to be come time for the A10 tournament in Pittsburgh.
Fordham was down by 12 in the mid to late stages of the second half and came all the way back behind a Roar Core 3 to force OT. And now with the 4-point lead, they're 4 seconds from a huge road win. It would bring these teams within half a game of each other in the conference standings and move Fordham into a spot worthy of a first-round bye in the A10 tournament. 4.1 seconds. Rhode Island has to go the full 94. Cochran gets it into Corey. Corey will dribble it up, throw up a shot. As the buzzer sounds, it's over. Fordham plays heartbreaker on Valentine's Day. 70-66 the final. The Rams win in OT.
What another team performance, Joe. And it's so great for the Fordham Rams to see the progression from a team win against St. Joe's. Now you go on the road again to URI, and you get another excellent team response to getting, frankly, punched, kicked, and everything in between in the mouth in the first half. And really, in the first 5 minutes, really, Coach Magpayo using his timeouts to his advantage, calming his team down, resetting the minds of these Fordham Rams, and preparing them for the long haul. They put their heads down in that first half, and they never let a single run from Rhode Island affect them for the rest of the night. It didn't matter if they went down by 12 or if they wound up down by 5. The Rams were giving the exact same effort all the way throughout. And at the end, they were rewarded with an extra period and then rewarded for their continued efforts with a big road W against URI.
70-66, Fordham gets the win. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast, that Fordham would need contributions from everyone in order to pull off this win. And that's exactly what they got in the second half and overtime. Assistant coach Kevin Smith is here. He'll take a seat and join us here on the broadcast. Kevin, I hope your heart rate's down after that one, an OT thriller. You played a lot of A10 basketball in your time. You've had some crazy games. Where does this rank among them?
This is pretty high. It's funny. I was telling some guys I played here my freshman year, and I fouled out in 9 minutes. And that the atmosphere was going to be intense, and the game was going to be intense, and they had to match that. Rhode Island's a super talented team, man. I mean, just like, and very well coached. Archie has done a terrific job as a coach, and obviously we have a lot of respect for him and the teams that they've had. But we're just really proud of our guys coming in today and gutting out a tough win.
And the scouting report, I imagine, today was stop Tyler Cochran. Well, he got his for 35 minutes, but then for, 10 straight minutes towards the end of the game, you guys held Rhode Island without a single field goal. What did you see from the defense locking in down the stretch to earn a 9-road win?
Yeah, well, we failed in the scout in the first 25 minutes, like you said. But I do. It's all about the guys. I mean, we just do our parts to make sure that they know what's going on in the place. And then when you get wins like this, you got to credit the players for their contribution to what we did and understanding the scout and some terrific rebounds down the stretch. Some really heady plays to kind of trap and pinch in on Cochran and made it difficult for him down the line.
Great team win today. I want to talk about that specifically, the whole combined team performance.
Yeah.
How awesome is it to see the consistency now from the St. Joe's game, the team performance at the end of that one, to now carry it in, continue to be on the road, carry it into this game against URI and put up another good team performance?
Yeah, well, I've felt since even the Davidson game, the last 5 or 6 games, that we've been putting a lot together as a group, as a unit, really getting real scrappy and gritty, and I think we're kind of becoming that team that if you want to beat us, you got to be that also. And that's a little bit of us embracing where we're from. We're in the Bronx, man. It's gritty and it's tough and it's scrappy, and that's what the type of team we're going to continue to be. But again, I can't say this enough. The guys are doing a terrific job of allowing us to coach them and really executing our game plans.
And Coach, Rhode Island went on multiple big runs.
Yep.
They had a couple of highlight play dunks in this game that really could have swung momentum.
Yep.
But how did the Rams, how did they stay unfazed and focused on the task at hand in spite of all of those momentum shifts?
Well, we just got some guys with some high-level competitive character. With plays go up, plays go
if he's still
down,
here at that point.
even keel, thinking about the next play. That one dunk that kid had, he had a 360 lob. I was impressed. But that's 2 points. You know what I mean? You got to move on to the next play, and our guys did an excellent job of that, especially in the second half.
Fordham did just that, made all the plays down the stretch, held URI without a made field goal for 10 straight minutes and earned the OT win. Kevin Smith, thank you so much for your time.
Guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank
Joe
you,
Henry.
Coach. What a win, Joe. What a win indeed.
Miles Corey pulled up for a right wing three with 5 minutes and 8 seconds left in regulation. He drilled it and made it an 8-point game, and it felt like the game was over. Not put the ball in the basket. Game, save for a couple of free throws in overtime.
Talk about second half defense, Joe, and defense past regulation. An unbelievable performance to continue. Said to not let those big plays phase you in an opponent's building with a raucous crowd in attendance. To keep the head down, keep pushing. Day 19, Schulte 17, Chris Henry 16 with the big three that put Fordham fully beyond Rhode Island. Joe, if the rest of Fordham's games are as cardiac as this, I think we're going to need to get checked out. But I think this bodes incredibly well, and I love what Coach said about how it's really been even further beyond the St. Joe's game, all the way back to the Davidson game, that this team has really been starting to function as a cohesive unit. What a fun game. What a fun Saturday afternoon. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody at home.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. That Davidson game, Fordham lost. Fordham blew a 9-point lead in the second half. They come home. They get home off the bus at 1 a.m. Mike McPile calls a team meeting, and all he says is, hey, keep your heads up. It's a long season, and they've shown just that since then. They've won 4 last 6 contests. This one may be the most impressive yet over URI. Fordham now up to 5 wins in conference play, currently in position to get a first round. I don't think anyone entering this season with everything.
But are we
this
ready
team
for that, Joe?
has
Yes, we
dealt
are.
with, to be in that position. As Kevin Smith said, it's a credit to the guys, and the guys willed them this far. 70-66, the final after not 40 but 45 minutes from URI. Fordham takes down the Rhode Rams in a battle of the Rams. And Joe Henry and Tucker Austin finally get to say so long for this Valentine's Day special edition of Fordham men's basketball, and are pleased to send it over west to Brendan Shorey and Ryan Deptula for your one-on-one post-game report.
Welcome into the one-on-one post-game report. Brendan Shorey here, Ryan Deptula alongside me. Fordham with a 70-66 win on the road over the Rhode Island Rams. Before we get into breaking this game down, I'm going to send it over to Ryan Deptula for a quick update.
the one-on-one scoreboard.
Some A10 basketball is scheduled for later today at 4 p.m. Number 5 in the conference, Duquesne, will be visiting the other New York A10 team, St. Bonaventure. The Bonnies are coming off a close victory against Fordham, looking to turn a disappointing season around and ride that momentum. Tonight at 6 p.m., number 2 in the conference, VCU will head down to Richmond and try to take their 9th straight victory in a row. Richmond has lost 6 of its last 7 and has a difficult one tonight in front of them at 6 p.m. Another New York college is over in Rhode Island right now. Number 17, St. John's, is taking on Providence. The Red Storm is looking to storm its way to its 11th straight win in a row, including a statement win against number 3 UConn. The score 40-39 Providence with 15 to go in the second. An update on the number 4 Duke and number 20 Clemson matchup. Duke blew this one out, led by Cam Boozer with 18 points, coming back well after Saturday's loss to UNC. This will in all likelihood be their 3rd win in a row, 67-54 Duke. With your one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Ryan Deptula, and happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, Ryan, for that. Cam Boozer having himself a year over at Duke. But let's break down this game. A tale of two halves, really. Fordham going into halftime, trailing by 7, and then this game seemingly being over, as Joe Henry said on the broadcast, with just over 5 minutes left in the game. Corey hits a 3 for Rhode Island, extends the lead back up to 8, and then Rhode Island would therefore go without a single field goal for the rest of the game and overtime.
Yeah, first thing I like to say is coming from the update straight to the final, it feels like I just switched into multiverse a little bit right now, coming straight from the update right to the final. But like you said, second half was a different story for Fordham. I think it really came down to defense down the stretch, with URI missing their last 11 field goals, only putting up free throws in overtime. It really felt like it had to be a defensive win for the Rams.
It's a defensive win, and I think it's something else you have to look at is for Fordham at least, the shots did start falling. 3 of 14 from 3 going into the half. Between the second half and overtime, less volume, but 5 for 9 from beyond the arc. So the shots definitely did start falling. The offense definitely did start helping out a little bit. But, yeah, the defense, I mean, holding a team scoreless for 5 minutes in the second half and then only giving up free throws as Rhode Island's only points with the extra 5 minutes afterwards, it's a feat that you really have to give this team a lot of credit for.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go scoreless in the last 5 minutes and win any game if you feel like, unless you're up 30 points, but you really feel like the other team, once they start picking up, adding on anything, you smell blood in the water in any sort of capacity like Fordham did. You start getting more stops, you start playing one possession at a time, and they really came back into this game quickly.
I don't know who the hero is for this game, because you have this second half, Fordham down 3, not a lot of time left, just seconds on the clock, and Chris Henry finds Roarcore for a 3, ties the game up, puts it into overtime. But then you look at overtime, and Chris Henry with a huge 3 to put Fordham up 3, and from that point on, Rhode Island's never able to fully come back. So really, two guys there with very, very big shots for the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, you could even say Schulte was just huge in times. I don't think there is a single hero for the game. It's really more like the Avengers. There's at least 4 or 5 heroes that are worthy of having some great screen time at the end of this one.
And that's something that Joe Henry and Tucker Austin talked about, too, at the end of the broadcast, is that they really are playing a full team basketball. Everyone is getting involved. Everybody is helping out with the scoring. Everybody's playing good defense. And this is the kind of result that you're going to get whenever you have your full team playing up to their potential.
Yeah, of course. You got to trust the analytics like Magpio does, keep putting up threes. But honestly, I feel like more than the analytics, it was really a clutch genetic involved in this Fordham performance. Really just a grittiness to be able to settle yourself down and hit big shots. Particularly Christian Henry fadeaway 3 in overtime, especially, was basically the deciding factor of this game. And to be able to have the poise and just frankly the ability to make that 3 is something that this team can hold on to moving forward.
Christian Henry with the big 3 in overtime. Day Reeves would then go on and hit 2 free throws, practically end this game right there. Roarcore with the massive 3 to close out the game, to put this game into overtime. But I think that's going to be all from us here on this post-game show. We have Trey Rodriguez on the board, Max Langer doing the graphics for us. Ryan Deptula was your guy on updates, joining me for the halftime and postgame. Joe Henry and Tucker Austin were on the call. Bobby Chaffardini is our sports director here at WFUV. I'm Brendan Shorey saying so long. See you guys on Wednesday for Fordham against Loyola Chicago. Fordham men's basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.